Hey everyone, I'm your host, Courtney Massey.
And I'm your host, Valerie David, and this is the night session.
This is now part 2 of our US Open Hangover episode. We had technical difficulties in the first part, which you will probably already know.
Yes.
So we are going to jump back in right where we left off, and hopefully we will not have any more technical issues. Cross fingers.
Yes.
Let's hope. It's been a long night, folks, and we're not even halfway through. Like, we have so much material to talk about. So when we left you, we were talking about how Stan Wawrinka was a guest on The Late Show with Jimmy Fallon, and the two of them played Wii tennis, and Jimmy Fallon creamed him. And Stan was just standing there going, "This is embarrassing. And this is embarrassing. And I just won the US Open. And now I come here and lose to you." And he was just like fake upset. Like, it was very cute.
Yes.
And then at one point he goes, "All right, ace from Jamie, ace from Jamie." And he goes, "It's Jimmy, okay?" And it was the funniest thing. And by the end of it, Stan was like, "I'm never coming back here. I'm never coming back to the show again."
And what it was every time they showed the screen, Stan's person wasn't moving. It was like every time the ball came at it, he was like nothing happened.
No, he didn't. He just stood there.
Yeah, so something was, because I know Stan must know how to use a Wii, so there was like something wasn't working right, and so finally at the end, Stan was like, "It won't fucking move," and they like beeped out because he was like cursing for like 10 seconds, and Jimmy just starts dying.
I know, he died. And it's just so funny how Stan just broke down in just swear words and just like, "Don't fucking move, fuck, yeah." And Jimmy just bursted, and it was just, and it's funny because if you watch Saturday Night Live, you know it doesn't really take a lot to make Jimmy Fallon laugh.
No.
And when he breaks, it's pretty glorious.
Yes.
So this was just a great clip, and
Yes.
and the part that's on Outside the Ball is just part 2. So make sure, if you haven't seen the video, which I can't imagine anyone hasn't watched this yet, make sure you get the complete video, because he's just, and Stan looked really good in it.
Yes. Yes.
He looked, I love seeing them out of their tennis clothes.
Yes. Yes.
Which
that
I
would
know
be nice.
could be taken in 2 different ways.
Like being creamed by Jimmy.
That could be taken different ways as well. Wow. It's getting late now.
Yes.
It's getting late. We're turning everything up. So our next one is Stan in Live with Kelly.
Yes.
Which it takes some time getting used to because that title has changed quite a bit. I'm still with like Regis and Kathy Lee. I'm way past this generation, but Stan was on their show, and it's funny because I didn't watch the interview, but the one thing I saw was when the guest host, I don't know who the other guy was, asked what Stan drank out of the trophy, and Stan just went, "A lot." Or too much. Too much.
Chris, I think it's Chris Harrison who does some of the Bachelor stuff, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and he's too much. Yes.
Yeah, Stan he's gotten savvy at doing these little 2-minute, lifestyle show interviews and stuff. He's very charming. He's got his little one-liners ready. and I always harp on Stan because Stan's wardrobe is so fucking boring. He pretty much wears the same thing all the time. But man, he can wear a pair of jeans.
No, he looked good.
Yeah, they're like tight in all the right places, and yeah, I was like part-time not listening to what he was saying. he looked good. And I thought this was funny because she was doing his return stance. And it ended up just looking so, like, awkward.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you looking at down there?
It looked like she's about to grab him somewhere.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
So it was really good, and Angie was on there too, and she was really cute. It was a nice couple of interviews. It's always interesting because it's, you know, we know them so well, and this is such a big deal to us. And then they go on these shows where they're like, and here's 30 seconds with the U.S. Open winner. It's like, that's it?
Yeah, and like no one knows who he is.
Right. It's a mystery, but I'm thinking some people might be looking into him now.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the Stan guy? I should see
like
what my searches to my website are, because it's always funny to see how people try to spell his name.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it'd be Wawrinka ass, you know, and they spell it with all
There's
E's.
a lot of ass
Yes.
things on blog searches.
Yes. and I try to supply it.
Yeah. You're an ass dealer.
That was another thing that came up in one of our Applebee's dinners at Cincinnati, was that we should change our tagline on Tennis Inside Out to "When tennis players bend over, we'll be there."
Oh my god, that's amazing. I like that a lot.
It's like we tried, we aimed to please.
You got the right angle.
That's right. We're your peach providers. Are you okay there? Are we having another technical difficulty?
It's like a farmer's market. Yeah, no, sorry. I started choking again. I was really good. I haven't been coughing in a while, and then it's been a long night.
It has been.
And but you said people weren't really happy with Stan doing these shows.
Oh yeah. It was a few people.
A few
people. That were just kind of saying that this proves about how Stan is narcissistic, and that he went and did all these shows.
But every U.S. Open winner does these shows. Marin Cilic went on David Letterman, which I remember was so crazy. I think for tennis fans, because I remember like watching David Letterman going, "Oh my God, Marin Cilic is on David Letterman!" Like, what fucking world are we in right now? Like, it just seems mind blowing. And Marat Safin, I think, did David Letterman when he won the U.S. Open. And,
yeah, it's like if it was Andy Roddick or something, it makes sense. But
Andy Roddick hosted SNL one time, and it was so good. But yeah, and but it is weird when you see kind of obscure like players that you just don't expect it. Like Serena, you expect to see.
Right.
Federer is really not that shocking if you were to go on these shows.
Right.
But and even Novak, like Novak's not really weird. And I remember last year Novak went on the Today Show, I believe it was, in the morning. And one of the correspondents, the female correspondents, lost her shit. And I'm sure I talked about this in an old webcast probably around that time, because she lost it. And she's like, before he came on, she's like, "How do I look? Is my hair okay?" And she was like freaking out, and it was amazing. So yeah, every winner goes on these shows. It's because it's in New York, and all our daytime talk shows are in New York, and our nighttime talk shows are in New York. A lot of these people go and get interviewed, and it's part of it. So it has nothing to do with Stan.
Right.
Because if Novak won, Novak would have went on those shows. He's been on those shows before.
Well, yeah, and it was one of the harshest critics was a Fed fan, and it was kind of like, well, you know, Federer doesn't stoop to this kind of commercialism or some kind of a thing, was the attitude. And I'm going, Roger was the one that told Stan when he won the Australian Open that he had to do this shit, that he couldn't just go hide in a corner. He had to go and do all of the press and events and things like that, because it's part of your responsibility. You're promoting the sport, and, you know, this is great for tennis. I mean, shit, the more shows they do, the better, because people are like, who's this hot guy in the tight jeans? Let's
Yeah,
watch tennis.
yeah. And as a fan, it's super funny.
Yeah.
And I remember Novak Djokovic served a ball at Stephen Colbert's head
Yes.
at one point. And like they do these little funny bit things, which I think, you know, in a way can be kind of irritating or like secondhand embarrassment a little bit for tennis fans because we know
Yes.
them so well. And these
Yes.
little bits are kind of just embarrassing and awful. But at the
Yeah.
same time, it can create really funny moments because we know them.
Yes.
And but yeah, it's part of it. It has nothing to do with Stan other than he won.
Right.
You know, so that's stupid. I mean, everybody who wins the US Open goes on these shows. People are stupid. And freaking Serena's on HSN every.
Oh, and people live tweet it.
I know.
It's
I
just
haven't
like-
watched Serena on HSN.
It's awkward. And not because of her. It's because all home shopping stuff is awkward. Because you have to talk for like
My
3
mom
hours.
watches tons of QVC at Home Shopping Network. And sometimes I can watch it. First of all, I hate when they take calls.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
that's always the worst and most awkward.
Yeah.
But, I mean, sometimes they can be really funny. Because of how ridiculous they are. And
Yeah.
I always said I wanted Novak and stuff to sell, like, pans and shit. It would just be so funny because he's so, like, big that I think it would be really funny. He would be like this little Vanna White, just being like, look at these things. And, but yeah, whatever. It's part of it. People are weird. That's the point.
Exactly.
I didn't lose you, did I? Okay.
No, I'm still here. Oh my God, no.
No.
No, this is just a little bit of the awesomeness. And I know some people got bent out of shape about that. There were some commentators that were saying that this is the primo matchup in tennis right now, is these two guys. And I think some people took it as saying of all time, which they weren't. It was just like, there aren't that many people that can threaten Djokovic right now. Stan is one of them, and look at the shit that they do. I always liked Nole Fed matches because they brought out the best in each other, and that's what Stan does with Nole. I mean, they just push each other so much, and that's what they've said, is that there really has never been anybody that can bully Nole the way Stan can. He actually pushes him back. You know, it's like Federer used to do a little more of a cat and mouse kind of a thing. But Stan is like so strong that he can actually push Nole back. But I mean, this point is just ridiculous. It's amazing.
Yeah, there was a lot of really great moments in that match.
Yeah.
And just the rallies that were just insane.
Yeah.
And you were just like, holy shit.
Yeah, because they're just, it's kind of funny because their talents are different. You know, it's like Nole has this incredible flexibility and the slides and stuff. And then Stan has the angles, and they just worked the whole, you know, like every inch of the court and then 15 feet around it. I mean, it was, I said both men's and women's finals this year were so entertaining. It was like, this is what a slam is supposed to be. We're supposed to be screaming on every point, you know?
Absolutely.
So I was excited.
The only thing that would have made it better is if Andy Roddick was the one and only commentator. Like, I don't know if you've watched any of his commentary.
I only saw just a little bit because I know he was periscoping, and I just saw some of the clips.
I didn't watch much during the Open, but I've watched him in the past, and he just gives such great insights where I actually learn about the game. Because, you know, we've talked about it on the show where I watch tennis, but I don't play tennis, so I don't think like a tennis player. You know, I don't see the game in stats and strategy and, you know, I just kind of enjoy it, you know, and I know what think's good and what I think's bad, but I don't analyze it. I don't have that kind of brain. And when you listen to Andy, he breaks it down where I actually learn about the sport, and I think he's just a joy to listen to, and he's really funny, and we'll talk about that. I'm sure we'll mention it again. But he's such a great, he's just great. I can't, I don't know what to say other than he's amazing. And the thing that bothered me was, I bitched about this, was John McEnroe was sitting there talking about how we should have floor seats to bring in more money, like basketball.
Right.
And I'm just like, really? That's what you think would work? And then I remember someone goes, well, what about the photographers? They wouldn't be happy. Oh, make them go somewhere else.
Oh, yeah, I love that, yeah.
And I'm just like, yeah. And here's the thing. First of all, security reasons. We already have shit security at tennis events. And then second of all, can you imagine the players and how irritated they would be to have fans that close?
Yeah.
They can't stand the crowd now. Can you imagine bringing them closer? Like, can you imagine Ernest Gulbis with rich snobs on floor seats?
Well, and especially, yeah, because they would just be wandering in the middle of a game like they do now.
Yeah.
And they'd be like right on the courts. They'd be bumping into the player.
And what if they like spill their beer or spill something and it rolls into the court?
Right.
Or it goes all over their stuff.
Yeah.
And also, Stan wiped out at one point. And wiped out the chairs. He could take out a little boy.
Yes.
Like, it would just be a mess. And that was their commentary, was they weren't even talking about the match. They were just talking about how there should be floor seats to bring in more money, to bring in more famous people, when the US Open is already attended by a ton of celebrities.
Yes.
Because it's funny, because we mentioned the Gail Monfils and Djokovic match, how terrible that was. At one point, the match was so bad, the camera was just showing celebrities in the crowd instead of the match that was happening.
Oh my God.
Like, there's a lot of celebrities there. They don't need to be in the players' asses. They really don't.
Yeah.
And it was frustrating. But, whatever.
Oh, baby.
I mean, okay, I would pay money to help them change their clothes. Is that an option, John McEnroe?
Here, let me hold that for. Let me towel your sweaty body off for you.
Yes, towel girl.
Let me make sure every one of your abs is.
Dude, I will even dress up like Towley from South Park while I do it.
I will not do that.
I will dress up like a Bounty paper towel roll or whatever. Just, sponsorship. See? I can be like a sponsored towel while I'm toweling off the players.
And what was funny to me is that during this tournament, because they actually had to show Stan more, he was in more interviews and they was actually on the fucking TV. My timeline kept having people come on going, I never really thought Stan was hot before, but damn, It's like, I kept seeing these people that felt like they were like confessing to like there was a vegan who ate bacon, It's just like, it was like this like shame, like, damn, I find Stan hot, don't tell anyone.
Honestly, I'm kind of upset that you didn't say like a vegan just ate Swiss cheese.
I'm sorry, it's a bacon obsession. I like meat.
Oh no, I love bacon too. I'm all about the meat. I love how he didn't cover his nipples.
I know, he's like
He
much less shy.
Stickers there.
But you see how fast he does it. It's like there's a lot of some of the guys change shirts and they like sit there for like 20 minutes with their shirt off.
Nobody changes their shirt faster than Ernest Gulbis used to. I swear, I wish somebody clocked him. Because he would be like, whoa. You wouldn't even know. He would have a different color shirt on. All of a sudden, it was just like, what witchcraft was that? It just changed color.
I always love that when you see the plan, like, wait, wasn't he wearing red before? It's like you get all confused.
And I remember way back in the day, Ernest used to wear, like, you know how sometimes their shirt will come up, like, as they play or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think Ernest, like, fell over, or something happened where his shirt kind of came up, and he hurried up and, like, pushed it down real fast.
Oh, jeez.
And we're just like, calm down, Ernest. You're a good-looking dude. You don't have to be so shy.
Exactly.
And, like, Stan with his nipples, like, fine. They're fine. You're fine. They're fine.
You're all good. Well, yeah, and that's like Stan will play like 2 whole sets with a shirt that is just like soaked, like he's been swimming in a pool, and because he doesn't want to change it on court. It's like, just change. People like it. You look good.
And then people whistle at you. That
Yeah.
has to be a little weird when you're kind of shy.
Yes.
People are just whistling and hooting at you.
There was one time made me laugh because Federer is the same. I swear he like bribes the cameraman to move away when he does a shirt change. A lot of times he waits till there's something, just like they're doing the kiss cam or something. That's when he'll change his shirt so then no one notices. But he had one tournament there, he took his shirt off and the people went crazy. They were like catcalling and going screaming and stuff. And he got the cutest look on his face. Like, he was like, really? like, okay. But it was kind of like he actually slightly enjoyed it for a minute because it was just so exuberant.
It's funny the differences between like the kind of shy people and then Novak, who rips his shirt off and like spins it around his head like a helicopter, like it does like stripper moves and boodles, yes. And like freaking gives the crowd its own strip tease, and then there are other guys that are just like, don't look at my nipples. Yes. My nipples are showing. Like,
or don't look at something that Andy Murray said that we'll talk about later.
I wish. Oh God, we'll talk about it more. Don't get me started. Don't get me started, girl.
Oh.
Okay.
So this is just amazing.
Is it though, or is it sarcastic amazing?
Yeah, this just cracks me up because when Stan won his first slam, it was, oh, he beat an injured player. It was a fluke. It's the only reason he won. Then when he won the French Open, it was, oh, Djokovic wasn't at his best. You could tell he wasn't playing that well. Never mind that he also beat Federer and Tsonga and everybody else. And now he's on his 3rd fucking slam win, beats Djokovic again, and beat Telpo Nishikori. And we're no longer blaming Rafa or Djokovic. Now we're blaming Burdick, Tsonga, and Evans because they let this fluke fuck win 3 slams. I mean, it's like we're just grasping at insanity. It's like, I'm sorry, you can't have a fluke 3 slams. It's impossible. Unless you had a draw like Nole did in this tournament.
I was just gonna say, like, that's rich. Because Novak fucking, I love Novak, but he didn't have to do anything.
Yes, let's go through this. He which I love this. It's all perspective because he played Jerzy Janowicz in the first round, and it was 4 sets, and 2 sets were like insanely tough. And people who wanted Nole to lose were like, "Oh, JJ is back. He's doing awesome." So, and then the last 2 sets were like 6-1, 6-2. JJ kind of completely ran out of gas, and everyone was extremely pissed at him. And they had no idea that this was going to be the toughest match until the final that Nole would play. Because in the next round, he got a walkover from Vesely, which was extremely upsetting because Vesely had played a 5-setter with an Indian player, Manini, who is ranked, his highest rank has been 137. This would have been like his huge moment to get into a second round. And he lost, Vesely just eked out the win, and then Vesely just goes and gives a walkover. It's like, it's hard enough to lose a 5-setter, but then when the guy that beat you just gives up.
That's what I was, did Vesely didn't even get on the court, right?
No, yeah, it was just a total walkover.
So I don't understand why in the rules, if I think the other person should get in.
Yeah, it seems like that would make sense, doesn't it?
As long as, unless they left.
I guess that's why they don't. I guess that's why they don't do it.
Well, this is what I think. I think that it should be kind of like a lucky loser, where if your opponent can't do the services of the next match, you get to tag in.
Right.
And I don't understand why they don't do that.
And it would make it. I think it would be better for the tournament too, because how sucky is it if you pay for Arthur Ashe tickets expecting to see a Djokovic match and they go, oh, it's a walkover.
Yeah.
And sometimes they'll put another match on, but depending if the schedule's running late or something, they won't replace it. So then you just got screwed out of a match. I don't
understand why they don't do that.
Maybe it's because it's too complicated or something. I have no idea.
I don't know why that's complicated.
Well, because like you said, some people might have had their flight booked already or whatever.
But I think it's easy. Well, I think it's. I don't think it's that complicated. I think if that's a rule where your opponent cannot play its next match, you get in, and you could either say, I'm going to wait around just to make sure, or I'm leaving. And then if they decide to leave, then he gets a walkover.
Right.
I don't think it's that hard.
Well, let's make him do it.
Yeah. Fucking tennis. Like, fix your shit.
That's right. And so after the walkover, the next round was Yuzhny, who has been playing extremely well and is playing again this week. And he retired after 6 games.
For what? Do we know why? I don't even know why.
I don't even know why. It was, who knows, ankle, foot.
Foot.
Got paid off. I don't know.
Shoulders, knees, and toes.
He got 6 gluten-free pizzas for free. I don't know. It just seemed insane. And then he played Edmund, which this was another thing which I guess we can get into later about the McEnroe commentary. The commentary on this match was terrible because Edmund was not doing very well in the beginning, and they were really disrespectful, shall we say.
Uh-huh.
And then Edmund kind of got his shit together for the third set, at least. It was 6-4. That was, he kind of showed why he should actually be on the tennis court. So it got a little bit better. But then he played Tsonga, who retired. I mean, it's just insane. And then there was the Monfils match, which is its whole own subject.
Yeah, I've already talked about how that was the worst match I think I've ever seen. I was so mad. Like, I was watching this. I was only watching because of Outside the Ball. Like, I was tweeting for Outside the Ball. And I think at that time we had a Monfils match that we were promoting. I'm going to assume that's why I sat through that. And I wanted to turn it off, but I think I had to, like, follow it so I could, like, share a video and whatnot. And I was just, like, sitting there, like, I want to stab myself. It was the worst. The commentary was just bad. Everything about it was awful. And I didn't want to watch it anymore, and I just wanted to sit there and cry.
Yeah.
That's how awful it was.
And it's been interesting to me about that the commentary at the US Open, both during the matches and then at the ESPN desk, everybody seemed to have been more forthright with their opinions this year.
Oh my God, I know. God. The Monfils moment. That dude, who was that guy? Did you see that? Where he, like...
was it the LZ Granderson that went off on him
yes.
about how he ruined his opportunities and all that kind of stuff? Yes,
and how he's supposed to carry his race as a black man. Like, I thought that was a little extreme.
Yeah,
Did you see that part?
Yeah, it was over the top, but I found it interesting because I felt like the commentators finally you know, they have to be generally have to be like neutral and stuff, and like make you get excited about matches that no one will be excited about, you know. And I feel like the weight of this season that has been so shit-tastic
Yeah,
finally crumbled in on them, and they finally just went, "This is shit."
I know. I know. Everybody fucking snapped. Like, fans have snapped. Players are crabby, and commentators, like, and what we were talking about is he was talking about, Arthur Ashe, and how, as a black man, he had a great opportunity to do something that hasn't been done for a very long time, and he destroyed it, and he was very passionate. And it was just like, first of all, I think that's a little unfair pressure to put on someone of,
Yes.
like, the history of your race. And, like, I think it's noteworthy, but I don't know if he just ripped him a new one,
Yeah.
tore him down, where I'm just like, okay, this is kind of insane. And he was so passionate. First of all, I don't even know if I've seen that guy before.
Yeah,
Maybe I have.
he usually appears during the I think during the slams. I don't
Yeah,
know if he
during,
does.
like, the ESPN type of
Yeah.
tables, which I don't think I pay attention to the tables so much, but he just went off on this, like, huge rant, and someone, I think, said, "Tell us how you feel," afterwards.
It was like, it was kind of like, it was over the top, and but I couldn't really be that mad about it because you could tell he was just like so emotional.
Well,
You know.
here's the thing. I think all of us were so angry that we had to watch it.
Yes.
So, like, because, like I said, I wanted to cry. Like, I didn't. The only reason I watched it was for work. If I didn't have work, I would have turned it off. There's
Right.
no way I would have sat through that. So I think because it was such a long match, and it was so shitty the whole entire match, that we all just got angry that we had to sit through it. So, like, I don't blame him for getting mad, and I think, a lot of people were just like, this is just, Twitter was amazing.
Yes.
And we were all just so done. And I remember saying on Facebook, remind me why I like tennis. Like, everybody just lost their light inside of them. Like, we all just
God.
died together. And And it's sad because it was like a match featuring the number one player in the world, and you just want to stab yourself and the person next to you. Like, we all lost the will to live. So I understand that guy was so mad and just ripped him, but at the same time, I was like, tone it down.
Right.
Like, have a pop brownie and
Yeah.
just
Get a hold of yourself, man.
yeah, like, someone should have, like, slapped him, like, get it together, you're okay, it's over,
Or you
we
gotta
made it.
get that share from Moonstruck gif. Snap out of it.
Yes. Oh my gosh. It was atrocious, that
Oh.
match. Like, and nobody knew what was happening. And all of Twitter was just, what is this? What's happening? You guys, explain this. What's happening? Like, a billion tweets of that.
Yes. Yeah, I turned it on like a couple times and watched a little bit, and then I was like, I don't have time for this shit. And I'll I come back like, 2 hours later. Oh, it's still going on. And by then everyone was like out of their minds, and so then it was worth watching the end of it.
Yeah.
Just watch everyone completely go crazy.
Yeah, no, we lost our mind. And Novak had such a weird US Open.
Yes.
And I don't we didn't talk about the medical timeout.
No, I
Did
didn't know where
you?
you wanted to
I didn't
bring
know
it
where
up
you
again.
wanted to talk about that either. So we'll talk about that now.
Sure.
Since we're talking about Novak. Do we have more Novak after this?
Yes.
Should we wait? Look at we're all screwed up because we had technical difficulties and
No, go on your rant, because the
oh,
other
okay.
stuff is other kinds of, it was from his press conferences and stuff. So
Oh, okay. Okay. So we had the medical timeout and Stan's match. And it was it was right before uh Stan was going to serve. And I don't know what the rule states, but in general it's kind of like you shouldn't take medical timeouts to right before your opponent serves. Like, it should be done like on a changeover and an official kind of time.
Right.
Not just randomly when you want it.
Right.
But here's the thing. Although the time was suspicious, the real reason that everybody kind of got very upset with Novak, myself included, was that it seemed very shady. He did not express that there was anything wrong with his foot. The entire match, I don't think any of us knew that it was a foot issue, but what he was doing was grabbing his leg like he was cramping.
Right.
So that when he took a medical timeout, even the commentators were like, well, first of all, if he's cramping, he can't really do that. Then all of a sudden he took off a shoe and he suddenly had a foot issue. And Stan was livid. Rightfully so.
Yes.
Stan was absolutely livid. Fans were livid. Commentators, everybody. And, Novak apologized on court. He said, I'm sorry, Stan. I couldn't take it anymore. I had to get whatever.
He said I couldn't stand, is what he claimed.
I thought he said I couldn't stand it anymore. Do you even know what the issue was?
It ended up being that his toenails were coming off. So he had he had just completely shredded his feet. But what people were saying was that you can, if you have an issue like you rolled your ankle, you cut your arm open or whatever, it's an immediate issue.
Yeah.
And you're able to stop right away.
Yeah, definitely.
But the thing was that, number one, if Nole was bleeding, you couldn't see it at the time because it was in his shoe.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, and it was like he took off the right shoe and there was nothing there. And so then he took off the left one. So it was kind of like, there's got to be something wrong with me so I can use this MTO. And I think that what Stan's issue was too was that if Nole had kind of stopped after a point and looked in pain and gone off to the side, it would have seemed less bad than he played 7 more points to get his own serve and then took the timeout when Stan was about to serve.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It was so shady.
Yeah.
It was super shady. And here's the thing. I'm for medical timeouts. I am not anti-medical timeout at all. Because I want them to be at the top of their game. Because I want to see great tennis.
Right.
I don't want to see someone limping around. I want them to be as healthy as they can be. So if they have to take, some pain meds or get a massage every now and then, I'm fine with that. But even I went, what the hell? And I love Novak. And I know Novak has had heat for taking a lot of medical timeouts in the past. But I've always been the person hey, if you need it, take it. But it just seemed like it was weird timing, and he never indicated that he was in pain. He only indicated that it was he was cramping, he was grabbing his inner thigh.
Right.
And it was very weird. Now, I know a lot of Novak fans got very upset that people were angry at Novak for taking his medical timeout. But as a Novak fan, I completely think the anger was justified, because even if Novak had a legitimate reason to take that medical timeout, and there was blood, I think, on the second changeover.
On the second one,
or the second medical timeout, we saw the blood, and then we saw, okay, something is wrong. Even though he might have been justified in taking it, it was under very shady circumstances. And I think just watching what happened, I think it's understandable why people were upset. And I think Stan had every right to be upset. And, I don't hate Novak. I don't know if I don't think he was purposely trying to be shady, but I do think, I just think it was a little bit wrong that they let him do that.
Yeah,
well, I also think that if he was having issues, he should have done it on his own before it got to that point where he couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah, well, I feel like for some players, it's and which we can talk about that with Monfils too, about that, they anything to win. And I think Nole's thing was like, well, they let me take the time out, so I was going to, and because it'll throw Stan off, and I might still be in this match.
Yeah, I try not to do that. I try to kind of give the benefit of the doubt and not act like they're being shady. But even I tweeted that was shady as fuck.
Yeah.
And I don't know what his motive was for it, but it was shady, and I completely get why everybody was angry about it. Because I was furious. I was like, I love you, Novak, and you're making it very difficult.
Yeah. And it's like, the thing too about, because he and Stan have gotten so close, and they kind of say all these like super like smushy zen things about how they affect each other spiritually and everything.
Yeah.
And then it's like, and then he does this, playing against Stan, and it's just like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, and Stan was pissed. He didn't,
Yeah.
and Stan didn't take that sitting down.
No.
And he fought for it. Nothing came of it, but I think he fought, and he said it loud and clear for Novak to hear.
Yeah.
That was shitty. And it was like, we might be friends, but that was shitty. And I think he had every right to do it. Every right. I was so mad at Novak when he did that. I was just like, what is he doing?
Yeah.
That's
and I thought it was perfect too, because when Stan went on that live with Kelly show and they asked him about the controversy with Nole's medical timeout, and he said, there's no controversy, I won.
Yeah. And you know what's funny is I thought a lot of Novak fans would get mad at. I thought I would get a little bit of heat, but I didn't. But I said Novak didn't deserve that match.
No,
he didn't. And I've never said that. I have never in my life said a player didn't deserve a match. But I was so frustrated with that match and with Novak's behavior that I straight up said he did not deserve to win. And Stan deserved every single bit of that.
Yeah.
So I'm probably going to piss a lot of people off. But
yeah, and
it's how I feel.
My thing too was, it's like, I don't like asterisking slam wins.
No.
Because people wanted to do that to Stan, so sure as hell, I'm not for that. It's like, you have to play who's in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
You can't help the draw. You can't help if a person's injured, whatever. But Nole's draw was ridiculous. And if he had won based on not even fucking playing, that would have just, and then with this like kind of this shady part of this final and stuff, and it's like, and then he'd be the champion, and it would just be like, fuck 2016 tennis completely,
Yeah, no, I don't think he deserved it. I think Novak's great, and I supported him so much, and I want him to break records, and I think he does a lot of great things. But in this tournament, in that match, I go, he does not deserve this trophy.
Yeah.
And a lot of people can shit on me for that, but it was the first time I've ever said that ever in my life. I'm miss positive most of the time, and I respect these players so much, even if I'm not a fan, and I'm a fan, but he didn't deserve it. I'm sorry, he didn't. And I was so happy for Stan, because Stan deserved it.
Stan.
Yeah, and I'm newly in love with Stan, but I'm not that biased, so I think I'm whatever.
Yeah. Well, that is one of the things actually that I like about Stan. Like you said, that he won this fair and square. Stan is very much Mr. Justice.
Yeah.
And it's about what happens against him, but it's also about what he does too. And so I've always liked that he doesn't, pretend to be hurt when he's not, and, do all these like stupid gamesmanship crap. It's like, and yes, tennis is mind games and things like that sometimes. But, I like the way that he wants to play fair and, everybody to be on equal terms, and just have it be about the tennis and not all this other crap.
Yeah, definitely.
So this was, we talked about this in a previous, maybe a couple podcasts, when we had Stefan. We talked about some of the people that are in the press room that ask questions that could only come from fans or crazy people. So we, this almost felt like a plant when I thought about it, because Nole was getting so much crap about, various things. And then he gets this question that says, in light of your doubts about coming to the tournament, thank you for your dedication to this hard-working city and those around the world who respect such courage as well as entertainment. Why and how do you give so much of yourself in defeat, as well in victory in the sport of no substitutes or penalty serves after 235 minutes? Is it the way you grew up, or have you evolved into such a champion in all outcomes? I mean, what?
I mean, I guess it's a decent question that's just worded hella dramatically.
Well, it's like they worked on this for months.
It's like it's their novel. Like they worked on this profound thing.
Yeah, and I mean, and your it's just like, respect your such courage as well as entertainment. You're so brave, and dude, we're so entertained.
It's like he's a gladiator.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
fights a lion. Are you not entertained?
So, and he actually gave a very nice response to this, because it's kind of interesting, because he says, once you get to the top and you have that privileged status position, then I guess the importance of what you say, how you behave, what you do is much larger, just not comparable to any other position in the rankings or so forth. So I guess that kind of privileged status taught me a lot of lessons in life, and I got experience. I learned a lot about myself, about who I should be, who I should become, and it's an everyday evolution for me and for everybody else. We're all evolving in our feelings for you, Nole.
Yeah. But speaking of press, I wish we kept it, because I just remembered it when you were talking. I think it was, I don't know if it was Kerber, where like a journalist said something about how the match wasn't that entertaining, so say something funny.
Oh, no.
There was like some press, I wish I had it, but I completely forgot about it until you said it. And it was something about like, oh, well, the match, there was nothing that special about it. Like, or something, or like, your answer for this wasn't that entertaining, so say something we can use.
Oh my gosh.
And it was like so insulting. Basically, like, well, you're boring. We need something we can write about. Can you say something?
Oh my gosh.
And it was the weirdest thing. And I remember being so furious. I don't know if it was Kerber.
I wonder if it's the same guy that asked Stan an insulting question, which we will get to later.
I don't know. I wish I thought about it, but we had so much that
right.
I forgot about it, and I didn't see it when I looked through my Twitter, but I did retweet it at some point. But I think I retweeted it on Outside the Bald, not my personal account. That's why I missed it. But I can, you know what? I can go through it while we're going through this every now and then to see if I can find it, because it was so insane. But some journalists, well, you know what? That's too nice of a word for whoever did that. I was so like, what? How dare you speak to her like that?
Yeah, it's there's such a weird dynamic in my limited experience in the press room, from being in it and then from watching as well, that it's like sometimes it's like people feel like they have something to prove. People are trying to be, inventive to get a different answer, than the usual, because press conferences can be mind-numbing.
Yeah, definitely.
What different things are you going to say after the first round, second round, third round, fourth round, So it's like sometimes you can kind of understand when things are awkward or whatever, but sometimes people go way over to their side, and it's like, did you really think about this question before you asked it, or
And I get some are not speaking in their native language as well.
Yes,
So
yeah,
some of
sometimes
it
that's
can
a
get a little
problem.
lost in translation and screw up. But sometimes you're just like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Did they just say that? And I'm sure the player is like, what the fuck? Did
Yeah.
you just say I was boring and just to entertain you? Like, what the hell?
Yeah. Well, and that, I mean, there have been some players that have gotten up and walked out or,
Yeah, I wish that person said that to Serena.
Yeah.
Well, this is boring. Can you say something funny for our papers?
Yeah, I think it was Tamaya Baczynski that said at one point that um journalists and fans tend to be more obnoxious with the women because they expect them to be nice and compliant, and so they feel like they can get away with more.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's things that they wouldn't say to the guys, or someone that they're intimidated by.
Yeah, I wish they would say that shit to like Serena, Annie Roddick, and Ernest Gulbis.
Yeah,
Those are my three to say that shit to.
exactly. Or Sharapova too. Sharapova will cut you down
Oh
too.
yeah, I forgot about Sharapova. Yeah. Oh no, she'd cut a bitch. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I forgot about her. I haven't seen her in so long, like in a playing capacity that
Exactly.
I forgot
Exactly.
about that.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, this one was just it the slams, there's so much press there and from so many different places and everything that sometimes there are some cultural differences and things
I
and
sorry, I found the quote. Just so you know.
okay, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. This is the question. A former and great champion, Pete Sampras, said once, I like the racket to do the talking. The racket wasn't that funny. We didn't enjoy that much. Can you tell us something that you would tell your friends, intimate friends, mother, that you would be more fun for us to listen to? Sometimes you're too predictable. I would like some story to write.
Oh my God.
And he said that to Angelique Kerber. And she says, I don't know what you want to hear. I don't know. And then it says smiling. But like, I would punch whoever did that.
Just throw your water bottle right at his head.
Right? Like, I want to see like Serena, like, say that to certain people. Like, well, the racket wasn't that funny. We didn't really enjoy your match. And, can you tell us something? You're predictable. Like, I want a story to write about you. Like, what? In what universe is that okay to say to somebody?
Yeah, that sounds like another one of those people that thinks that they're being clever, and then they're gonna get some, like she's gonna tell them some story about a magical unicorn or something, and then they're gonna be like thought of as a genius, and it's like, no, no, no.
And it's so weird that like women, like you said, have to be pretty and entertaining and funny and just
Yes.
you know,
Well,
I'm here to entertain you.
that's the when I was talking about the Stan one, which we'll get into, someone, Luanda tweeted me, Davydenko once got asked about, does his success on the court make up for the fact that he's not good looking?
Oh. First of all, I always liked Davydenko. Like he wasn't my type, but I always found him charming and adorable.
Well, he was actually gave a really good answer because I think they went into more depth too. I mean, it was like extremely insulting. Like,
Oh my god.
you really have to make up for the fact that you can't look in the mirror. It's basically
Oh
how
my
it came
god.
across. And Davydenko said, "Well, I suppose if I didn't have a wife or wasn't having a happy life, I might be more upset about it. But maybe not here, but in Russia, I'm considered okay. I never had any problems with women."
Which is basically saying like I get laid, dude. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Pretty much what it was like. It's like, maybe I'm not to your taste, but the
I've never
ladies.
had a problem getting laid. We're
But
done.
I'm like, what a question to have to answer. Just like,
Like,
oh my
you're
God.
ugly. What's wrong with you? Oh my God. It was kind of the same thing where um I was watching the Good Place. And I've
Yes.
been talking about mental illness a lot of times because I struggle with depression and anxiety. And I've been having a very hard month. So I was thinking about getting medication and I was thinking about a lot of these personal things. So I was talking a lot to my mom about it. So while we were watching The Good Place, I told my mom that Kristen Bell suffered from depression and anxiety. She goes, "Really? But she's so cute."
Oh
And
my
like two things. First of all, mental illness is not an ugly person's disease.
God.
Second of all, I struggle. You know I struggle with mental illness. Why? Ow!
Oh my
Like
God.
you're just telling me I'm ugly.
Oh my God.
And I know my mom didn't mean it that way, but like sometimes things come out of her mouth, and I'm just like, you realize you just insulted me, right?
And a whole lot
Like,
of other people.
yeah, but it's like I was sitting right here. You're talking to me.
Oh my God.
And
And
it's
that
like,
is that's like a common ingrained refrain about stuff like, oh, this person murdered 7 people, but she's so pretty.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
exactly. Like she's so pretty. She's has everything going for her. Why is she, she's so cute. What does she have to worry about? And it's like it's not controllable.
right.
And so yeah, it's just people have really weird responses that are really insulting.
Yes. So stop it.
Yeah, stop being insulting, you assholes.
It's spend a little more time on your question like this person
Oh
did.
my fucking God. Yeah, exactly. This question was ridiculous, but at least it was nice. It's
Exactly.
not like, well, Pete Sampras once said.
Yeah,
You're
that
not the
that was
one.
that was just so pretentious
Yeah,
and
you
then
didn't.
insulting. It's just
Yeah,
like, ugh.
and you didn't see that. And it's like, I read it, and I read it like 4 times when I first saw that. And I was like, poor Kerber.
Yeah.
Like, what a shit question. I would have been like, what? Like, I would have just looked at him like, are you okay?
Yeah, right.
Do you have a death wish?
Yeah. Just like next question.
Let me
Get
give you let me
take
give you
this
a
man
black eye.
away. You
Yeah,
know?
let me give you a black eye. Remember when Caroline Wozniacki was asked about Rory, and she just shot a look to the moderator, like, I'm not answering it, off with his head.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, poor players.
Yeah, Caroline did that great press conference too one time where she came in and just gave a stream of consciousness answer to all of the standard questions that they always ask. Where it was like, oh, well, I thought it was a good match, and, I was working on my forehand, and, yes, in the second set, I think I did fall off a little bit, and she just, she just went through this whole thing and then just went, so, any other questions?
That's amazing. That's so great. But
So,
I loved when Serena, where they kind of, didn't they tell Serena, like, why aren't you smiling?
yes.
And then she goes, I don't want to be here.
Because you're an asshole. It's like,
Yeah, I don't need
it's
to smile.
surprising that they don't sometimes say worse things.
Yeah, well, no, Ernest gets really shitty sometimes in interviews
Yeah.
because someone will say, oh, something about the match. He's like, did you watch the match? And the
And a
guy
lot
will,
of times the answer is no.
well, the guy will go, yeah. And he goes, well, then there's your answer. You watch the match, you know the answer. And like he gets really short with certain people and
Yeah.
like just makes them shit their pants. And it's amazing. Like, I mean, I understand how stressful it is and how like you can freeze up. And because I froze up with Ernest before in interviews where I was trying not to forget my questions, that I wasn't really focusing on the fact he already answered my one question. So then I
Right.
just asked him that again. And then when he started to answer it, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. We already went over this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's actually, it's a hard, yeah, it is a hard thing to do when you're doing a full interview, that you have to remember your questions, but then also sometimes try to meld it into, like, build off of what they just said so that it's not
yeah,
like abrupt and awkward and
yeah. I remember Barbara Walters, I think, gave advice, and they said, don't focus on your questions.
right,
Listen to what the person is saying and
right.
forget about your list of questions. So I always remember that because I saw that after my interview. I was like, yeah, I could have used that advice before, but whatever. So yeah, interviews are hard, but dicks are forever. So we're a little bit back to Stan because poor Rublev
Rublev. Yeah, Rublev.
um, was trying to break his racket and he couldn't. And Stan just did it like it was origami.
I have to say, in Rublev's defense, but this, it still holds true because it's about technique. Stan generally cracks the racket first. It's usually after he's smashed it on the ground and then he picks it up and breaks it in half over his leg. It's a two-step process.
And Rublev forgot the first
He
step.
forgot the first step.
But
So
Rublev, I feel, is me and like the rest of the world. I feel like that would be us, like really angry in matches and trying to break it because we see all the players do it. And that's what happens.
and then it's like so embarrassing because not only are you mad because whatever, you missed a shot or you're losing, now you look like a jerk. You're trying to break your racket, and it's like, oh, now I'm a weakling on top of everything else.
Oh, good. That poor racket just.
And those things are, I'm amazed at how they break. Like Ernie and Stan, I think, are the
Yeah.
top breakers of. I mean, they just crush those things,
I know. And
and
like
they're
that,
they're
it just
made
looks
to
like
not break.
paper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Rublev knows they're made to not break.
Yeah. Rublev's going, damn, I gotta get to the gym.
Fucking hell. You know he's swearing in his head. Go, what the fuck? Fucking hell. Just fucking break.
What the hell is this made out of?
What the fuck? How the hell? Just break. He's gonna break his leg
He's
instead
going,
of the
I
racket.
should have taken that meldonium.
Ah! Oh man.
Oh
Nice,
my
nice,
God.
nice drug joke right there. I can watch this all day. I don't know why, but it's just like the cutest, saddest thing ever.
Stan looks so badass. It's just like, oh, just another day at the office as I crack this thing in half. Meanwhile, Rublev,
I mean, like, seriously, Stan looks like he barely touched it. Like, it just brushed against his leg. Look, just brushed it. Like he's folding up a suitcase. And Rublev is just like, it's like when you see like a karate master like break a piece of wood and then the little kid tries to do it and like breaks his hand. And like you see someone at a circus like bend metal and you try to do it and then you just break something of your own, like a wrist or like he's gonna hurt himself.
That would have been really bad if he needed an MTO after trying to break his racket.
I know. I'd be yelling, "Don't hurt yourself! Don't hurt yourself! It's okay."
Just pretend. Just walk away and pretend that didn't happen.
Yeah, just walk away. Go get your towel. It's fine. Go get your towel. Break the towel. It's fine.
I was just stretching my arms. I wasn't trying to break my racket.
Yeah, poor thing. He's so cute trying to do it. And he's so frustrated. Oh man. And like Stan just like, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Whatever, Stan. Tone it down. You're making everybody look bad.
Oh, this was. Sorry, I was so happy with myself that I found the perfect gift for this. Everybody made a big deal about that. Stan once again got asked about Roger in his press conference, and They said, you remember the last year Djokovic beat Roger Federer at the final of this tournament. How did you face him today? Any chance to chat to Roger about how to, you know? And Stan said, to lose? Which Fed fans got really pissed off about. And so that's when I found this gif from when Roger was watching a Masha Lauren Davis match. Because it just seemed like the perfect response that he would. I mean, he's not going to get pissed because Stan's answer was about the question, not against Roger, because it was just a stupid question. Just like Djokovic beat Roger, so did you get some advice? It's like about how to not get beat. You know, it's like, what the hell is your question? And so Stan was like, no, I didn't chat with Roger. He's one of my closest friends on the tour, but it's not the first time I play Novak. It's not the first time that I play Novak in a big final or an important match. You know.
It's like, you've never I've been here before.
Yeah, it's like I'm a big boy. And so
did you see me break my racket?
Yeah, exactly. Look at me, I'm all grown up. And so it's just I could just tell, because people were saying later too, because they saw the transcript and then they saw the video and they were like, well, everybody was kind of laughing and stuff, and it's just like, well, it's still insulting, because it's like Stan's now he's run his third slam and they're still going, did Roger help you win?
It's like what the hell?
It's like, and just you can just tell that it's people who just want Federer in a headline, so they want to be able to say, you know, Wawrinka says Federer helped him win the title. You know, they're dying for something like that they'll get lots of clicks on. So he had this answer where you can tell Stan is, you know, he just doesn't want to have any of it. And then later on, someone goes, you had mentioned Roger just before. Have you heard from him at all across the tournament? And Stan's like, yeah, a few messages. Congrats, good luck, things like that. And the guy goes, was it encouraging?
No, it was depressing.
And Stan was like, what I just said, few messages. It's just like, he's not Guru Federer.
I know, they think he's like Buddha, like all players, like all the Swiss players are just like, Federer, please give me some of your knowledge.
I pray to the Federer fortnightly. Just like,
yeah, I mean, I know everybody acts like Federer's God, but like tone it down a little bit, people.
I know.
But I know when Ernest Gulbis beat Roger, and I know I said Ernest's full name. I know he makes fun of me every time I do it. Ernest beat Federer, and they said, you know, how did you beat Federer? You know, what did you do? You know, to prepare for the match, how did you do it? And he goes, I ate scrambled eggs in the morning. It's like, I don't know. Come on. There was no magic. Like,
exactly. It's like, I do this for a living, you know?
Yeah, it's like I played my game. It worked. Like, but they just act like Federer is just this magical being. It's like, he's human.
Yeah. So, and then, so you could tell Stan was already having a good time, because this was a question he got earlier in the tournament. This guy goes, I wonder what motivates you. You won 2 slams. You're very rich. You'll never catch Federer, Nadal, or Djokovic's number of trophies. But anyone knows on a good day you could beat them. So frankly, I think that one more slam won't change much. What makes you work?
What? That makes no sense.
It was like, you're never going to be as good as those other guys, so why bother?
I mean, I can understand if he wasn't very high ranked, and you know, he kind of wasn't at the same level as maybe he wasn't before. So they say, you know, you're not at the top anymore. You know, what motivates you? But he's been at the top. He's been kind of consistent.
Yeah.
And they're just acting like he's 90 years old.
Yes.
Like, why aren't you retired with alpacas by now? Why are you still doing this? I'm still winning. Why would I stop? I'm healthy. Like, I don't understand their train of thought.
Well, and that's what he said. So what should I do? I'm 31 years old. What do you want me to do? Just go to the beach? Not do anything? I don't know. Did you ask that question to Rafa? Or to Novak or Andy?
He said that?
Yes.
That sounds like such a fan thing to say. Like, you know how fans go, well, they don't ask that about Roger. They don't ask that about Federer. So I think that's funny that
Yes.
Dan just flat out went, what the hell?
Yeah. And he goes, I think I love my sport. I enjoy to play tennis. It's my passion. I start when I was really young. I have the chance to play in front of amazing crowd playing amazing match like tonight. If you just look at the match tonight, you have the answer. It's an amazing feeling to be out there. But he was pissed. Because again, it's just like, it's just disrespect. It's like, I don't understand because he doesn't fit this like model that they have for the perfect tennis player. They ask him these questions like, what the hell are you doing here? Why are you winning all of a sudden? It's just kind of, did Roger help you? That has to be the reason. It's just, it's got to be so frustrating.
Well, yeah, look at Kerber. She's winning matches. They're going, it wasn't that fun to watch. Say something funny. Entertain us, monkey.
Yeah.
Dance.
Oh my god.
Show.
Oh
like,
my god.
What the hell is wrong with people?
Yeah.
I think this whole episode has just been us going, what the hell is wrong with everybody?
No, we have a lot of issues.
We do. We have a lot of pent-up anger these last few weeks. Because I swear the next segment, we haven't even got done with our first segment yet. Our next segment is going to be about ass, I swear.
Yes.
But the first segment is us just angsty and like going, what the fuck is wrong with everybody? And we're telling everybody else to take a chill pill while we're like, fuck you.
Right.
Fuck you and take a chill pill. You're wrong, you asshats.
That's right. Do as we say, not as we do.
Exactly.
Oh, so I think that's all my press conference rants there. But I like I said, Fed fans should not be distressed. I don't think Roger's gonna be mad. I would think Roger probably thought it was funny and a zinger. Like they'd be like, "Fuck you."
Yeah, they're friends. Like I imagine they bust each other's balls. I imagine that's kind of Stan's humor because him and Donna do it all the time.
Yeah. So I don't think it's a problem. I'm sure, and I said, people were like, all up like Roger would never say anything like that about him, and I'm like, really? This is the guy who said in Davis Cup, I played great, Stan, not so much.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and didn't they have that whole Bernard Tomic thing? Wasn't there some shade that they threw at each other?
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember.
Well, remember Tomic said something about how Federer has to win too to get there.
Oh, you mean I thought you were saying with Stan also?
No.
Oh no, Roger and Tomic.
Yeah, Roger has kind of had some zingers in the past too.
Yes, with Murray as well. So,
yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I said, he's a big boy. He can take care of himself.
It's all in jest. Like, everybody needs to get the stick out of their butt as we have a stick in our butt because of stupid people. But we're better than you. No,
that's right. We're right. That's the difference.
Yeah. We'd be great debating. We're like, in Saturday Night Live, like, really with Seth and Amy.
Yes.
Like, really, assholes? Really?
Exactly. This has been a very long episode of really.
Yeah, it really has. Really.
And speaking of treating things in a Zen fashion, I guess we can learn from Djokovic.
Yes.
They found this video of him and Daniela Hantakova at this Spanish guru's meditation ceremony. And Nole spoke kind of like Captain Kirk during it. And had his brother translating for him. It was very very weird thing.
Wait, what language is he speaking?
He spoke a little bit of Spanish. He speaks Italian, so I thought maybe he was gonna fudge it. But he spoke. The bulk of it, he spoke English, and his brother was there translating for him
Into Spanish.
into Spanish.
Okay.
And I don't know what the circumstances. I don't know if this was a one-time event or if this is Nole's favorite guru. I don't know.
His
go-to guru.
Amazing. Mariska Hargitay.
I don't know, but they transcribed part of it. And he said, to find the love, happiness, and harmony, we need to be able to look inwards and to establish this connection with a divine light, because that is the way for us to find love. Imagine an illustration of what is happening in your mind. It's like the traffic on the streets. You're in the car. Your thoughts, your emotions are the cars in the street. In most of the situations in your lives, you are part of that traffic. Many times you find yourselves frustrated because of that traffic. There are different cars, lights, too many people, you're late, and there's always a reason for you to get nervous. But what if, for a second, instead of being part of the traffic, you're outside of the traffic, on the hill, and observing the traffic? Same kind of process happens in your head. If you are closing your eyes and focusing on yourself, on your soul, internally, and you believe that being disciplined in this process will allow you to be the one observing the traffic.
Okay, first thought, this sounds like a mix of the Dalai Lama and that guy who interviewed him with that, like, encouraging speech of a question.
Oh, no. Yes, right. Yes.
It feels like he wrote this speech. It's a mix of Dalai Lama and that journalist.
There you go.
That's like your courage and entertainment. Like, I mean, maybe it's just the way you read both.
Maybe Nole wrote the question. Like I said, it was probably a plant.
But that's what I'm saying. It sounds like that journalist is his speechwriter, and he also maybe plagiarized the Dalai Lama somewhere, or like a Buddha quote.
And Michelle Obama, probably.
Yeah, Michelle Obama, exactly. But like, I don't know.
and I said, and it's part of. I mean, there's nothing wrong with meditation. There's nothing wrong with any of that. But
I'm a spiritual person, so I'm totally fine with that. And I think, it's a nice speech, but at the same time, you're just like, where the fuck are you going with this traffic? We're in a car, and I don't understand where we're going. I need to understand. I mean, I get where he's going with that, but at the same time, I'm like, towards the end, it started to get a little weird.
Yes.
And it's just like, I don't know, maybe he said traffic too many times.
Yes, and I said in the way he was delivering it through this whole speech just made it even sound more absurd. And when he was kind of like in the middle of, because he said way more than this, he was kind of in the middle of it, he and his brother looked at each other and they started cracking up. So it was almost like it was like an SNL sketch or something.
I doubt he wrote this. I'm going to assume someone else wrote this.
I don't know.
And maybe he had time to write about traffic. I don't know. But I assume he's a busy dude. And I assume a lot of people have speechwriters. So I assume someone wrote this and maybe they both looked at each other like, what the fuck am I talking about right now?
Well, it kind of felt a little like he was making it up as he went along.
Oh. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be awesome where he's just trying to like fuck with his brother. Like, I'm going to say all this shit, you have to translate it.
Well, and that's what happened was a couple, he said a lot of stuff and then his brother, he kind of looked at his brother because he can understand some Spanish and then he'd look at his brother and go, you didn't get all of it. And his brother would go, oh, yeah, blah, blah, blah. It's like he didn't give two fucks about it.
So that's funny. Did someone translate it in Spanish?
You mean
The translation that his brother did to see how accurate it
to
was.
see how oh no, I don't think anybody got
Oh my
that
God, someone
invested
needs
in it.
to do that. No, someone needs to do that because that could get funny. That's where the funny shit is. Because because if his brother couldn't keep up with that ramble, like who the hell knows what other people heard?
Well,
We
I think
thought
they
it.
were all on the pot brownies, so I don't
That's what
think
I'm
they
saying. I
were
was
like.
going to mention pop brownies a second ago, but we started talking about the translation. But how funny is that? That like we could think, wow, that's really weird, and those people could get half of that. So they might be like, what the fuck? Are we not in the car anymore? Why are we not in the car?
Why are we on the hill? Is this the
Yeah.
Kennedy assassination? What's happening?
Like, what did the car break down? Are we walking? What like? How much of that got lost where he didn't get it?
That's amazing.
Right? Someone needs to do it. I don't speak Spanish. Someone needs to translate his brother's translation just so I know how accurate it is. Because I want to know what those other people heard that are there for this like really profound, beautiful thing. And his brother's just fucking it up. And Nole is like, I didn't say that. Where are you going with that? Like, and then they started laughing. So you know his brother said something wrong.
Oh my god. That's amazing.
Right? That's what I'm saying. Someone translate it. We're losing Valerie, and it's great.
Oh god. And we still have a whole nother page
Segment.
of
Well,
stuff
our
going.
next segment is where we're really gonna get fucked. So
Ooh.
hey, we have been telling people to put on your seatbelts.
That's true.
We have a very car traffic. We're in the car with Novak.
Oh my god.
We're in that traffic.
Okay, so heading into hour 3.
Okay.
I...
So I have to switch my tabs. Hopefully I don't have problems doing this.
Yeah, hopefully we won't have to have a 16-part podcast.
Yeah, totally. I have no idea how long we've been here. I feel like we've been here for hours and I'm just like baked.
Yeah.
I feel high. I really do. It's a very high experience.
I think it's been a couple at least. Here we go. We're starting with a bang.
I don't know. I think we started like around 10:30, 11, so I don't think it's been that bad. Okay. So this is where things get really weird. You want to take this one?
I think it speaks for itself.
I know. Like I didn't know how to set this up.
Well, there is a thing about Davis Cup rookies always have to do something embarrassing.
Yes.
And like the French guys usually make them sing at the
Yeah, but
at the
they're like
dinner.
they're still in suits. Like they're in suits and a microphone. It's not this level of like
Yes. Well, there's
freaking Olivia Newton-John embarrassing. Like and but I love it because I like this better because everything's just tight and like it's kind of hot in a weird way.
I know.
Like how old's this kid? Can I say that? Oh my god, we should look that up.
I don't know about the guy on the right is Duckworth, and he's been playing a while, so he's legal.
No, I'm talking about Alex, and I think Matt Reed's fine. He's legal, but I'm talking
Alex,
about the young little twink in the middle.
I know. I don't know.
I don't know if I can talk about his junk now. Okay. Like, I was just going to talk about how everything is just tight, and he looks really cute. Like, he has a little bandana, and he looks so precious. And I don't know how. Hold on, I should Google. Hold on, I'll look him up on my phone. Hold on.
Oh, okay, you're going to do it? Because I was going to do it.
We could both do it. We'll have a race. Who can get his age first?
And then I won't be able to find the page again that we're on.
Oh. Well, I'm looking up on my phone. Oh shit, he's 17. Shut it down. Shut it down.
Oh, that's close enough.
Is it? Well, is that legal in Australia? He's in Australia.
It could be because it's legal in my state. That's how I always look at it.
Okay, I don't know if it's legal in Vermont, but he's a youngin. So yeah, but this is really adorable and ridiculous, and I wish there was a video. Is there a video? I haven't seen one.
I haven't seen one either, but
I know Curious and all them were filming it.
well, you'll have to check with NK about that then. I would
Maybe,
usually some video of this stuff does turn up somewhere.
yeah,
It's so hard to keep up with everything.
it is. It really is.
As you can tell by this 3-hour podcast.
I know, and we left out stuff. That's why we're adding stuff as we go along because we're like, oh shit, we forgot about that.
Yep, there was that one thing.
Yeah.
And this is also, I like this because tennis players generally we don't get to see this much of their thighs. It's like, hot damn.
I know. I don't know. I'm so hesitant to go in places because I thought Alex like looked the cutest. He looked the less ridiculous. Like it actually fit him.
Yeah.
Like, it looks like he would wear this on a regular basis for some reason to me.
Well,
and
he
I
might be because he
it.
seems really comfortable.
Yeah, like he seems really into it, and like it fits his body. Where the other ones look like they just squeezed everything into that.
Yes.
And it didn't really fit them. This looks like it was in his closet, and it's like shaped to fit his body, and he's like ready to put on a show. And I appreciate the show. I would buy tickets to the show. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I appreciate Ducky's thighs, so that's where I'm at.
He doesn't. I don't know if silver is his color. I think I would have liked to see a different color on Duckworth, but you know,
these outfits may have been chosen for them. They might not have had a choice.
Yeah.
This might not have been their personal selection.
Yeah. No. Well, like I tell you, it looks like Alex had that in his closet. Right? Because none of that fits their shape, and it fits his shape.
Yeah. Well, he's also way skinnier, so.
True. He has a very leotard spandex friendly shape.
Yes. So this is Davis Cup for you. These are the things that happen during Davis Cup.
It's the best part of Davis Cup. Like, I wish there was video of this and the Monte Carlo parties.
Yes.
And I know Novak was kind of fighting for that to be streamed. But I guess they didn't go for it.
Yeah.
But whatever.
What happens in Monte Carlo stays in Monte Carlo, apparently.
I guess so. But apparently what happens in Australia doesn't stay in Australia.
No.
Because we got a taste of it.
Yeah.
So
crikey.
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 Apparently in a year you'll really be talking about Alex, apparently.
Maybe. I don't know. This is the first time I've seen him. And in the pictures that I just brought up on Google, he looks really, really young.
Yeah.
But in the pictures from Davis Cup, he doesn't have that super young face.
Right.
So I don't know when the other pictures were taken of him, but he looks like super kiddish. Where I'm like, oh no. Yeah, but in this, he doesn't look like a child. Anyway. Moving on.
Oh, speaking
Although we're not
of pretties.
moving on far, yeah.
Pretties.
Some Davis Cup glamour shots.
That's right. This is Corinne Dubray's that we talked about before, that the French people helped her get new cameras that got stolen.
Yes,
so
yes.
This is the art that she brings us.
Okay, this might be a weird statement, but does Borna look like he is like ready to fuck someone all the time?
Yes.
Like, he has that look on his face where like he is ready to just like take someone.
And it could be you.
In a rough manner.
Rough man. I think especially with the beard too. He's looking extra violent.
I don't know. It's just sometimes I see, like, a lot of times I see pictures or videos of Borna and I'm just like, he just looks like he's going to just take someone as a sacrifice. I don't know. It's late. I don't know.
Yeah, no, he's very powerful. That's why I always say the things about, like, you look at, some of the 18-year-old guys on tour and you're like, child, they look like kindergartners.
Yeah, but see, I think Alex is more my speed because he seems like he's silly. And I
Yeah.
like silly, where Borna just looks like he's like going to eat you.
Yeah, he's pissed that he's
Like,
got a powerful aura.
yeah, he has that intense, like, I'm ready to mount someone at a moment's notice.
You've discovered what I like about him.
Yeah, yeah.
Aside from his fine body, of course. Oh, and Pierre. I love Pierre too.
He's another one that's very sweet looking.
Yeah, it's very sweet.
He's not like,
Yeah, he's not mounting.
no.
At least not as it's not his main mission in life.
And next time you go to Cincy, you should get Borna a little Mountie hat. Just like and make him wear it, like, and that'll be our little inside joke.
There you go.
Just saying.
But yeah, that's the other thing about Davis Cup is we get to see, well, like you said, out of their tennis clothes.
Mm-hmm.
We get to see them dolled up for Davis Cup and World Tour Finals. Those are like our big moments to get to see them actually dressed up.
A lot of suits and spandex.
Yes, we have both sides of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Some of them may be wearing spandex under their suits. We don't judge.
I feel like Borna's freeballing it.
That's a strong possibility.
No, I feel like if you like I just feel like his dick could hit you in the face unexpectedly. Like out of nowhere, like you're not prepared for it, and it's just like randomly smack you in the head.
Oh my god.
You're laughing because you see it.
I'd like to see it.
Like he gets up and you're just sitting there and it accidentally just smacks you in the face on his way past. You see it. You get where I'm coming from. I hope no one listens to this episode.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, Borna.
Oh,
I'm sure you're a lovely man. Okay.
That dick note. Oh, now we have intimacy. We've gone from hilarity to porn.
Sorry.
To then intimacy, and this is Argentina's Guido Pella had a very emotional moment with his coach, the team captain after this, and you will see it coming up after a handshake with Edmund. This is just there's nuzzling, there's rubbing. It just kept going, and I was like, oh my god.
It's funny because it looked like he was gonna break like 4 times, but his coach kept holding him, so he's like, all right, we're going in, we're gonna keep it in. Like more nuzzling, more hugging.
Yeah, it's just like, this is the other thing that I love about Davis Cup is they get so smushy, and
they do. They like grab each other's butts all the time. Like they're very. Something about Davis Cup just really brings the romance.
Yes, and that was just, I mean, the petting and it was just like, oh my god,
heavy petting.
I'm like so turned on right now. Because Pella's gorgeous too.
She's so adorable.
Yes. So I was just, it just didn't, even if you like don't watch the matches, it's like Davis Cup's awesome because you get all this stuff.
So many gifs and photos and.
Yes. So it's like, there's always talk about trying to reconfigure Davis Cup and make it better because it is a pain in the ass for the players. It's hard for us. I just sometimes don't have the energy for it. Yeah. But it's like, I wouldn't want them to do away with it entirely. I think they need to make some changes, but I definitely wouldn't want to see it completely go away because
it's hard because I love Davis Cup so much, and I went to Latvia and so it holds such a special place in my heart, and I don't like change. So it's hard, but I hope, if they change the schedule a little bit, but I hope they don't change too much, and because I think the spirit of Davis Cup is really special.
Yeah, and tennis players don't get to play team sports that often.
Yeah, exactly.
So you get to see more of that camaraderie and stuff. So yeah, I know that there's been pressure to try to change some things, and I did see some talk about that they might be going from 5 sets to 3, which would help the players a lot.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, if they
That
did
doesn't
like
bother
five
me.
sets in the final, that
Yeah.
I'd be cool with that, and then
Hmm.
3 sets otherwise, because when they have to squeeze this in a weekend between 2 big tournaments,
Yeah,
if
definitely.
they only have to play a couple sets, it's not so bad. But
Yeah, I'm totally fine making it 3 sets. That doesn't bother me. Because I think, a lot of people want, Grand Slams and Davis Cup to be special. And I think,
yeah,
but I think the atmosphere and what Davis Cup is already special.
right,
So I think even if they cut down the sets, I don't think that takes away from how epic that stuff is.
right.
So, boom.
So that's our Davis Cup stuff.
No, we're not done yet. So, before
Oh,
I
that's
play this
nice.
GIF, I might lose it, so just bear with me. This I might lose it because if you watched past episodes, I cannot talk about Cascade as underwear. I
No.
can't even say it. I'll just say undergarments. That he loses on the court makes little girls pick up. Uh,
His les pantaloons.
yeah, it's very hard for me to talk about Gasquet and his underpants, but he did something else, which, as you see, I like to call the husband is home, jump out the window, escape route. I feel he's practicing. Here's the thing, I still have not seen an explanation of what the hell this is.
Just gonna say why.
I did not see an explanation anywhere. I just saw this GIF once, and that was it. No context whatsoever. So I just assume he's practicing escaping out a window because the girl's husband's home. That's just my take on it.
I,
What's your
I,
take on it, Valerie?
well, I honestly wonder if it was something where he was just getting change, going to change or
Getting changed
something,
and
and
then the
somebody
camera.
went, "Hey, you're on camera, by the way," and it was like, "Ah."
But why wouldn't he? But that's the thing. He could have just pulled up his pants.
It's Rishi. I don't know. These are the kind of things he does. It may have just been for comedic effect.
I think comedic effect because also French people. Gilles
Yeah,
Simon
they're not that shy.
changes his shorts on the court.
Yeah.
He don't give a shit. And like freaking Gasquet's a little bit like he was embarrassed when the little bald girl had to pick up his underwear.
with tongs.
Oh my god, she wish she had tongs. And she's holding it like it's the worst thing ever.
It's
And
radioactive.
he's like, sir, you forgot your underwear.
Maybe that's what this was he just remembered that moment.
Yeah. And he's like, oh my god, I lost it. Like if you guys, I don't remember what episode that was, but if you find it, I lost my shit. And I think we've talked about it in like at least 2 episodes. And both times I couldn't get through it.
I know.
Because Gasquet in his underwear is just my favorite thing in the entire world. And oh my god, if you guys want to make me happy, just give me like shirts and like memorabilia with Gasquet in his underpants. And like a little girl terrified holding his underwear. Oh my god, I would never be depressed again.
Whatever's going on in your life, it couldn't be more awkward than this.
You know what? Here's the thing. I am saving up money to buy a house. So, as a housewarming gift, as a housewarming gift, I would like someone to get me this like beautiful large painting of a terrified little girl holding Gasquet's underpants and Gasquet like diving off court or some shit. And something to do with Gasquet's underpants and a little terrified girl, so I can put it in my new house, like over the fireplace.
You realize they're like putting you on a list right now for saying something. This is right up there with I wish I could be young so that I could molest tennis players.
I don't want. No, but that's a real thing that happened.
I know, but it's like I want a painting of a terrified girl and a man with his underpants.
I know, but it actually happened. And I realize if people come into my house, that I'm going to be put on a list, but I think just asking for it, it's a cultural moment. It's a moment in culture, pop culture, and first of all, I'm already on a list. That's not going to fucking change.
But
I'm
sure I am too.
And I mean, don't make him naked. Like, don't make him weird. Don't make it weird. Like, just depict what happened.
Don't make it weird.
Like, don't make it fucking weird. Don't make, like, freaking dick out. Like, don't make it porn where, like, a little girl's looking at his dick. Like, no. Just make it that he, you know, has a pile of clothes and she's holding his underwear going, oh, God. Like, just, like, don't make it weird, you guys. Like, don't make a child porn where I'm, like, gonna get arrested. Like, keep it clean, okay?
Good advice for all gifts.
Yeah.
Don't make it weird.
Don't make it weird. Don't make it where I might get arrested if people find it. But, like, make it so I can put it up in my house.
There you go.
That's all I ask.
Do we want it to be tastefully awkward?
Yes. Like Stan, tasteful art.
Yes.
You know, make it tasteful where it can go in my house. Don't make it, like, weird, like, balls out. Frickin' teabagging people. Like, come on. Oh, we're going to be talking about teabagging soon, actually.
I was going to say.
Oh, that would have been the greatest segue ever. We're almost there. We're almost there. Keep teabag in your head as we just think about balls gently brushing your forehead.
On that note, moving on.
Okay, moving on. Oh, speaking of balls, oh my God, perfect.
That's perfect.
Perfect segue. Okay, perfect segue. So Andy Murray, for Davis Cup, they asked him why he left the court for a medical timeout. And he says, well, I couldn't take my nuts out on the court. And very matter-of-factly, like, you just can't do that.
He just says it where it's kind of like, well, you know, I had a toe cramp. You know, it's just like he says it in just such a, like, well, it's so obvious. I just can't get my nuts out on the courts.
Yeah, like, I can't do that. That's not allowed. Like, that's obscene. I can't just take my nuts out. You just expect me to take my nuts out? What's wrong with you? Like, he says it in such a brilliant, beautiful way.
I know. It's I said there wasn't any other player that could have said that and would have been half as funny. I mean, it just that dead. And I loved it because there's like a small pause from the room. And then they all start dying laughing because he says it so flatly that you're like, did he just say nuts?
Yeah, it's like he says it all the time. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just like it was no big deal. He wasn't embarrassed. He didn't really laugh. He just said, well, they asked him a question and he answered it. They said, why did you leave the court? Well, I couldn't get my nuts out. You just can't do that. You know, I'm sorry. I had to leave. You know, I had to get my nuts out, and it's just, and everybody's just like, oh my God, wait, what? And it's funny because I didn't see the match, so I didn't know what happened or what the issue was. So
yeah, I didn't know.
When I watched it, I was like those people in the room that had no idea that shit was coming. They had no idea balls was coming. Like, they had no idea that was going to be the answer. And
it reminded me of when Stan like a couple of years ago had an off-court MTO, the same thing, and Mary Carrillo was commentating. And she talked about it at length about how he'd have to get his shorts off. So that's why he has to go off court. And, he has to take his shorts off. His shorts are going to be off.
I think I remember that.
Yeah.
I think we talked about that.
We did talk about it because it was so amazing because she was so obsessed with Stan's shorts being off. It's like, are you getting a mental picture there, Mary?
I remember that. But yeah, I just love that I had to get my nuts out. Sorry, I had to get my nuts out. I'm a dude.
And I just have to say too is I really think that like unless it's their elbow or something, I really wish they would take all the MTOs off court. Because when they lay down on the ground and he's got his hand up his butt and it's just like it's so embarrassing.
Oh my god.
And it's like go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say I probably said this on the episodes past that I actually wanted to be a medical trainer and I actually considered going for it as a career, but then I found out that usually the women have to work on women.
Yeah.
And then I thought, well, if I don't get to massage a dude's ass, I'm not gonna go to school for that, like, and just that's a waste of my time, and I never pursued it. Because I literally just wanted the job to just massage athletes' asses on court. That was my career aspiration.
Oh my gosh. And see, we all joke about that all the time, but Courtney was actually going to do it. So.
No, it was when I was graduating high school and me and my grandmother were talking about it. And then I was like, oh, but, and my grandma was like, yeah, but you'd only have to work on women. I was just like, oh yeah, no. I don't want to work on Serena. I want to freaking massage Ernest's ass. Like, fuck. Like,
I want to see him get his nuts out.
Yeah, like, I want to help get his nuts out. Like, I'm the trainer. Like, you just sit back and sip your water. I got this.
Well, you could possibly do that without being a medical trainer, but,
Everybody tells me that Ernest would have let me, which is so funny. Like, grown men are always like, Ernest would have let you do anything. And I'm just like, really? Because he's never gave me the green light for anything. Like,
was that an option? Holy shit.
Like, I know, like, all these men, like, grown-ass men are always like, oh, Ernest would have let you do this. Ernest would have let you do that. And I'm just like, so when was I going to know this? Like, when was somebody going to tell me that, like, oh, like, and also the only time I've been with Ernest is at a tournament, like, at the practice courts. Like, I'm not just going to stick my hand in his pants, like, in front of everybody. Like, again, you can't get your nuts out on court. Andy Murray's telling you that.
It's a very clear rule.
Exactly. Very clear. Can't make it any more clear. Nuts on court is a no-no unless you're one of the squirrels that accidentally run on the court. That has happened a lot. Are you okay?
Yeah. I'm picturing it.
What, me taking Ernest's nuts out, or the squirrel?
Yeah, it's just like in the middle of the, like, hi, Ernie. Whoop.
That's the sound you make? I know I'm not sexually experienced as other people, but is that the sound you make when you remove somebody's nuts from their pants?
No, I was thinking of the hand going in.
Oh. It's like, do I have to make that sound effect, or does that just happen?
It depends on the guy.
Here comes the airplane. It's really my hand. Coming in for a landing.
Oh my god.
On the landing strip.
I think the brownies are kicking in.
Okay. Guys, we really aren't high. We're joking. We're totally joking. And if you're a cop, you have to tell us.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I like how just bringing this up, you go, ugh. Okay, well, I'm going to let you say it because you made it.
But you say it better.
Oh yeah, do I always say it?
Yes, you always do because you say it better.
Okay. Aussie. Oi, vey. I'm always always worried I'm going to screw that up, by the way.
No, it's awesome.
Yeah, she made this, and it was one of the greatest things we've ever made in the show. And one of the most, like, we can use this every single episode.
Yeah, that was what we didn't realize, was that it was just perpetual. It, like, never goes out of style.
It doesn't. So we're going to start, well, we talked about balls, so it's only, the next step is
talking about cock.
Yeah.
And we have really missed Tanasi because we just don't get to talk about cock anymore, and it's really upsetting.
It is. It's super upsetting.
Plus, he's so adorable.
He is. He seems like a sweet guy.
Yeah, and he's Aussie, so there's still some naughtiness there too. But he's definitely
doesn't seem as bad as the others, does he?
No, he is. I would say he's the golden child.
Right? Because I don't remember any real controversy with him.
No. But this was the upsetting thing, was he has been off a long time, pretty much the whole year, with a shoulder injury. And he was finally coming back. We talked about this last time because that was where they kept saying he was going to the Olympics as moral support. And we were like, I don't think they let you into the Olympic Village.
Well, he was talking about how he lost his rackets. Well, why would that be an issue?
Yeah, exactly. So he played the Olympics, but he went out in the first round, and he picked up a stomach virus.
Oh, boy.
And then he got back on the training court, and he pulled a pectoral muscle. So he had to withdraw from the U.S. Open. So this poor kid is just falling apart.
No, 2016 has not been nice to any of us.
No.
Like, seriously, raise your hand. I can't see you, but you can do it anyway. Raise your hand if you had a successful 2016. And I bet no one raised their hand.
It's crickets. It's total crickets.
Total.
Well, somebody tweeted that said Kerber is the only one that's had a good 2016. Because it's been pretty miserable. But yeah, they said the good news with Kakanakis, though, is that when he played the Olympics, his shoulder was not bothering him at all. So once he gets over the pectoral thing, is probably just a strain. So hopefully he won't be out too long with that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's what happens. It's like you're off for a long time with an injury, and then when you come back, you're not in shape enough to play, and so then you get hurt again. It's just like it's gotta suck so hard. And we're talking about cock and sucking. And
I didn't catch that. I was listening to you like earnestly, like yes. I totally forgot. I was just like, yeah, no, totally, you're totally right. And then I totally missed that freaking blowjob joke. It's getting late, and you would think I would be on the ball. But instead, I'm just like, no, totally agree with you, Valerie. You're just nailing it.
So that's the story of the pretty cock, who we're hoping will be back soon.
Yes, definitely.
So they can wholeheartedly embrace him once again.
Yeah. I would like to say that we're done talking about balls. But
no, we're not.
We're just going from one sack to another.
And we're not even talking about football.
It took me a minute. I was like, what? What were we talking about?
Sports joke.
Sports joke. Well, this is a sport webcast. Sometimes we forget that. Yeah. So anyway, everybody's favorite
asshole.
Bernard Tomic. Everybody's favorite ball sack. Bernard Tomic lashed out at a fan during his match, where I will scroll down so I can definitely quote it. He has said, "Suck my balls." He also said, "I will put my balls in your mouth." And then he said, "I will give you some money to make you feel good."
If my balls don't do it.
Here's the thing. When I first heard about this, I felt so sick because I was so scared he was saying that to a woman. And we have talked a lot about abusive language and abusive sexual language. And I don't like abusive sexual language at all anyway.
Right.
But obviously, if it was for a woman, I would be even more uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because also I was just like, I'll put my balls in your mouth. I'll give you money and make you feel good. It just seemed like something an asshole would say to a woman.
Yeah.
But then I later found out it was to a man. Um, which still isn't great. But here's the thing. I will give Tomic the benefit of saying that sometimes fans and hecklers are just awful.
Yes.
And they do bait you, and they're just shitty and terrible. And I think Tomic definitely had a right to be pissed. If he's trying to play a match that's, these are their careers.
Right.
And, if somebody's trying to fuck that up and ruin it, I mean, you have every freaking right to be mad.
Yeah.
I don't know about putting your balls in people's mouths.
Yes.
But,
Yeah, that's the. I know quite a few players have gotten into it with fans at the U.S. Open, and I'm pretty sure that's where it was. We always laugh about Tipsarevic called out somebody in the crowd and said, "You with no hair."
I missed that.
It was a few years ago, and it was just so. There was just the way he said, "You with no hair."
You bald guy, suck my balls.
Exactly, and it was, and Stan's gotten into it with the drunks before, but
Gulbis has said he's wanted to go and punch certain spectators in the face in the stands.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, he was probably on one hand trying to just kind of move on from it, but also the fact that Tomic didn't really say exactly what they were saying makes it seem like it was probably really unprintable stuff.
Yeah.
If they're willing to say what he said, and it pales in comparison to what the crowd was saying.
Mm-hmm.
I said, when I first heard about this too, I'm like, that's not a great thing to say, but I sympathize with that, because I think that does suck. Like, and especially too, the stuff where they call the ball out and stuff, like, to be an asshole. Sometimes people do stuff intentionally. When they shout, when they go up to serve, all that stuff. Even if it's a player I don't like, I'm like, it still pisses me off.
Oh no, I hate that. No, there is some really awful crowd shit that happens. And so I don't blame Tomic for being upset at all.
Right.
But as soon as I heard about this, I assumed, I just the way he worded it, I kind of assumed it was to a woman. And so I got real uncomfortable real fast. Like, I was just like, oh no. Like, part of me kind of giggled, and then the other part of me went, no.
Yes,
like, don't freaking put your balls in anyone's mouth forcefully. Like, that is wrong. That is assault.
Yeah.
Like, do not put your balls somewhere where people don't want your balls.
Oh, God.
If it's an invite, go for it.
Well, and it's just actually, it's just absurd in a way. Because if, like, someone's attacking you, it's like, do you want to put the most sensitive part of your body anywhere near them? I mean, it's kind of a weird threat.
I know, I thought about that too. Like, I can just freaking rip your balls to shreds. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
Why I would just hurt you. I don't understand why you would hurt me.
Right.
And, like, sorry. Guys are so weird. That was like, suck my dick. Like, but, no homo. Like, like, you want to put your balls in a dude's mouth?
Yeah.
And, like, you want them to suck your dick, but you're not gay. It's like, I get it's a control thing.
Yeah.
But, like, do guys realize how they sound? Because I know I have a friend who talks to a guy in prison who was telling a story about how there's these two inmates who keep going, suck my dick, but then when they actually, like, see each other face to face, like, not, like, behind a cell, they, like, don't say shit to each other. And then behind the back, they're like, yeah, well, if he said something, I would have said something. And it's just like, do you realize how, like, 3 years old you sound?
Yeah.
Like, do you realize how ridiculous? Like, you're not tough at all. And also, fun fact, the inmate that was telling her story didn't even say dick. He said wee wee. And
Oh
I was
my
like,
god.
really? How old are you people? Like, you're supposed to be inmates who are big and bad. Why are you talking like ridiculous people?
Oh god.
And it's just the same thing. Like, tennis players are just like, suck my balls. I'm going to put my balls in your mouth. I'm going to give you money and make you feel good.
Oh
Are you
god.
picking him up? Like, is this a proposition? Like, what is happening? I don't understand this form of insult. Teen things. Like, and
Oh
I know
my
girls that say suck my dick, but that's different because we don't have a dick.
god. Well,
But
maybe
like,
that's what this was just misinterpreted. Maybe they were just flirting and then.
but that's the thing. Like, so I won't put your balls in your mouth. I'll give you money, man. I'll make you feel good. And like, that's why I thought it was at a woman at first because it just had that kind of sexual,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
proposition to it. And that made me feel really uncomfortable. And then it was about a dude, and I was just like, some random dude you couldn't even pinpoint in the crowd, and you're just like, suck my balls. But then again, Stephen Colbert was talking about how he wants to put his balls on Trump. So like,
Oh my god. So apparently it's a thing.
it's a guy thing. They want to put their balls on everything. They just want to brush their balls on everything in the
I was
house.
just gonna say, including on our foreheads.
Yeah,
As
just
you said
gently,
earlier.
like as you're sleeping, just gently brush across your forehead. I'm
This
surprised.
podcast has gone to such a weird place.
I'm surprised they don't have like ball massages where you get massaged by someone else's balls.
Oh my god.
I'm surprised it's not a thing because guys say that all the time and like want to
Ah.
teabag everybody, and it's weird, and I
You
don't
never
understand
you
it.
never know that there's all sorts of things that exist in the world that we
Yeah,
don't know
but
about.
it just seems like men always want to put their balls on everything, but like women, I've never heard a woman be like, "I'm gonna put my boobs like just rest on top of your head." Like I've never heard a woman like in a real conversation be like, I just want to like poke him in the eye with a nipple. Like I never heard that ever.
This is true. I will support that.
I told you guys this half of the podcast is gonna be weird as hell. It's 1:30 in the morning,
Ah.
and we've had to deal with a lot of shit recently.
So what else have
Okay.
we got in store here?
Well, we're gonna make it nice for now, I think.
Maybe.
Oh,
Not when you
yeah,
look
no,
at
you
this
were gonna.
picture.
Yeah. Anyway, whatever. Take it away.
No, this was a lot of interesting things happened at Cincy because it was nothing but fucking rain for 9 days. Actually, I take that back. It was 8 of 9 days. It actually didn't rain on the final day, but it rained every other day. And what happened was this pretty much obliterated the practice schedule because a lot of the times they didn't even clean off the practice courts because it was raining so intermittently and stuff that it was just they were just focused on the courts where matches were going on, and so if you missed your practice because of rain, you were SOL. So I came upon this practice that JD was actually already at. He took a lot of the pictures and videos in this post. Kyrgios couldn't he didn't feel it was safe to practice on the court because there was so much water on it. So there was a pretty substantial crowd that had gathered, and someone suggested, well, let the kids play. And Curious went, okay. And so a group of like 4 or 5 boys, like maybe like 12, 13 years old, came out on the court, and he played a game of mini tennis with them and actually borrowed rackets from the doubles players on the next court because they didn't have enough rackets. So it was actually kind of a cool thing. And then, of course, somebody said, well, how come it's not fair? How come we don't let the girls play? And this is what I came upon when I came to the court. These girls in their booty shorts, which I have to say, Kyrgios was extremely focused on being gentlemanly.
Huh.
You could just kind of tell that he was like, I don't want anybody saying anything about me. because some of these girls were like 14 or whatever, and was like, he was just like, nope, I'm not doing anything inappropriate. But the only weird thing that he did do was, his big thing was that they played these games of mini tennis, and then whoever lost, he said, had to take one of his serves. You had to take his balls.
Oh.
But
Like ass up type thing?
yes, which my husband took video of the boys because he actually hit one of the kids. But he said then when the girl went out there in her booty shorts, he was like, I can't film this. I might get arrested. It just feels wrong. So he's like, you'll just have to take my word for it.
Did he hit her?
No, he didn't. I would say he purposely missed.
Yeah, I would probably say that too.
Yeah, and so it was just everybody was screaming every time the tennis ball got near or whatever. So it was just all to be fun, but it was a little another one of those things where you're like, this could be awkward. But
I mean, first of all, I don't like. I don't think they're dressed inappropriately. But well, first of all, my boobs are always out at tennis tournaments because it's fucking 100 degrees in Sydney, and I wear like the least amount of clothes. And I've had so many wardrobe malfunctions at Sydney because I would wear these silver tops that are like low cut, and like you can usually kind of see my bra underneath. But I remember I had a pink bra, and it kind of looked like I had a bathing suit underneath, but I didn't. But the thing was the straps were too loose, so they kept falling down. But sometimes I wouldn't realize it would fall down past my bra. So I literally was just sitting there with my bra out and my boob out. And but it's freaking like 90 some degrees in Ohio. So I care less there. Like I'm usually covered, but in Cincy, I'm like, I don't give a shit. It's freaking 100 degrees and I don't do heat. So I'm sure Ernest has seen so much of my tits. Because I have like really low cut tops on that don't really cover anything, and he's at a high angle.
He's getting the good view.
Yeah, me and him talk all the time, and he's always like before practice, he'll come and hang out with me and stuff, and I'm like, I wonder if it's just because my boobs are out most of the time. Like I'm sure he's seen like everything.
And yet he did not put his balls on your forehead.
No, what the hell, Ernest? He has a girlfriend now, but like, what the hell, man?
But the funny thing about this was that it continued because the next day, my husband saw Kyrgios with the boys that had been on the practice court the day before, and they all had ice cream and visitor passes so that they could get into the players' areas. That's awesome. When I posted about this, some people talked to me on Twitter and confirmed that they actually saw him go and get the passes for the kids because security wouldn't let them through.
They have to do that.
Yeah.
The players always have to go because I've seen, I think I've seen Dogopolov. I've seen other players get kind of people they've met at tournaments or maybe friends that they know from other places at the tournament where they had to physically go with them.
Right. But and we were just assuming he also bought them all ice cream. So it was like it was a pretty cool thing. So it's one of those, it was kind of an example of a lot of times if you read, a couple lines in some article or something or some scandalous headline about a player, it isn't necessarily all of what they are.
Yeah.
And so this was kind of an example where he was just kind of being cool and laid back, and these kids were all like excited out of their minds. We're on a tennis court playing with this cool, Australian pro player, and everybody had like a really good time and everybody's, taking pictures and stuff. So this was kind of one of the cooler things that happened at a tournament that ended up being kind of sucky because of all the rain. So sometimes some little surprising things happen.
Yeah, I think that's really great. And he does seem like he has a really great relationship. Like, he seems like a good boyfriend.
Not my type, but...
No, but I mean, like, on his Twitter and Instagram, he seems like he's in love and very open and always complimenting his girlfriend and saying how beautiful she is and how he misses her. And so I'm saying he seems like a very lovey guy. He's not
Right.
like, he doesn't seem like stuck up or like, you know, do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
Like, he seems very open and loving,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
I know some
No, it's
guys
true.
can get really weird about showing affection.
Right.
And I don't know, he seems like a great boyfriend. They seem happy. So I think he's had questionable decisions and his mouth kind of fails him. But
Well,
I don't
that
think he's a bad guy.
that was the other thing that I had about that. It's some of these players are. It's like you start feeling one way, and then they say something, you're like, oh, and I was just starting to like you, or
Yeah,
and
and yeah. I
he
think some of them are very young too, and they kind of had that fiery.
well, that's part of it too, and they're just not mature yet. And but one of the things that a lot of people have had a problem with Kyrgios is that he's kind of considered like like one of the next it players, and people are
Mhm.
expecting great things from him. And he's repeatedly basically said that tennis sucks and he doesn't really care. And he did a Q&A on Twitter and told people, hey, I've got nothing better to do right now. Why don't you throw me some questions? And he had apparently said at one point that he was going to quit before he was 27, that no way did he want to still be doing this.
Yeah,
And
Ernest Gulbis and Marat Safin used to talk like that too.
yeah, and so
Oh, I
somebody
said his
asked
last
him,
name again.
are you really going to quit before 27? And he wrote probs before that. And then somebody said, well, what if you're number one and playing your best tennis at 27? And he goes, if I won the US Open now, you would never see me again. So it's, it just might be him trolling, but it's kind of hard to take that where it's like you're kind of giving him all this like fame and attention and stuff. And he's going, I don't give a shit about the sport and I probably won't be here.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's the
I
thing. It's like it's hard to tell. Like, is he being serious? Is he just being a punky kid? Is he,
Yeah, I don't know because I've heard players like Ernest and Marat say, "Oh, I'm not going to play past this age," and I think Ernest is going to retire like every single year. And then I just
yeah,
read an article where he's planning, the next 4 or 5 years, whatever. I'm just like, really, you're sticking around? Like,
yeah,
I was so shocked. So it's I think um also he's young too, and I think the travel's hard, and I think it's a rough life. So some of it could be like, look, I would love to be successful, but everybody's success is different. He might just be like, man, I just want to win a grand slam. And after I win a grand slam, that's my goal. And after that, I could reconsider what I'm doing. Do I want to continue, or, do I want to do whatever his other interests are? So I don't know. I have mixed feelings about that. I don't think it's a horrible mindset, to focus on a goal,
well,
one
I
goal at a time,
I
I
think
guess.
it's how it's presented.
Yeah.
Because like Rafa used to say he didn't think he'd be playing past like 24 or whatever, just because he figured his body was going to fall apart. Which, in some respects, he was right about that. But he
Yeah.
doesn't seem to be in any hurry to give it up. You know,
Yeah.
which honestly, that even happened with Roger. Roger had been talking about retirement a couple of years ago, and he was saying he didn't think he'd even be involved in tennis. He was
Hmm.
kind of like ready to move on to other things, and he had other
Yeah.
interests, and blah blah blah. And then as he's every little bit older he got, it was kind of like, well, I think I'm going to keep playing, and maybe I'll just keep playing a little longer, and then I have to stay in tennis is my life. And
Yeah.
so it's like I think sometimes at different stages in their life
Hmm.
they start to feel completely differently than even last year.
Yeah. I think when they're younger, it's kind of like, oh, I'll win a grand slam. I'll do this for a while. Because I also think when you're young, you have so many other interests.
Yeah.
And you want to, like when you go to college and you want to take all these different classes and you want to do all these things and experience the world in so many different ways. And then as you get older, you realize, hey, this is my life. This is what I want to stay in. This is what I want to do. And so, yeah, I think he's in a phase. right now where he's kind of figuring it all out. Hopefully. I don't know. Who knows?
We'll find out.
Yeah, we will. Look, we stopped talking about balls. And now we're at Insta-goodness. It feels like we've been in Insta-goodness for the last hour with all the goodies we've had. So first, we're going to start with Nicole Gibbs.
Yeah, this was, we always kind of like to laugh about this kind of stuff. That the U.S. Open app and stuff was terrible. They had a picture of Borna like when he was 12. That was his profile picture. And then they did this picture of Nicole Gibbs, and she's got the Italian flag under her name. So that's what I tweeted. And look at poor Pavic doesn't even have a photo.
Yeah.
And Gibbsy's Italian. And then if you want to scroll down to that reply, how to close it out.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, hold on. There we go. Okay.
Yeah, scroll down. And her doubles partner, Dennis, tweeted a reply that they don't know what you look like either, because when they put this up, they put up a picture of Fratangelo instead of him. And so it was ongoing, because I retweeted something that someone had found. It was one of the doubles pairings, and it was both pictures were of Niculescu.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And it was women's doubles, and the other doubles team, one of the women, the picture was Lindstedt. It's from the men's side.
Poor Lindstedt. Because he did a video where he went around the grounds and asked a woman who he was, and she kept saying John McEnroe.
Oh no.
And she kept going, aren't you? You look just like him. And just, you know his face. Like, he's so great at comedy. He's another one that's really funny and can play it up.
Yes.
And boy, did he play that up a little bit. And she just kept going, John you look just like him. You're not McEnroe? You look just like him.
Oh my God.
And she was so sure that he was John McEnroe. And he was like, so offended. Like, really? He's like, yeah, close enough. And she's like, you're not? You look just like it.
Oh my God. Well, that was, I think that was the thing too with Riley Opelka, one of the young kids that plays for America. And
yeah,
he keeps getting mistaken for Isner and Query. And because it's just, if you're tall, you must be this guy.
If you're tall and American, like.
Yeah, but apparently the tournament actually gave him the credentials for Query.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
So it's just like, oh my God, it's got to be. It's like maybe it's motivational, because it's like, I have got to get fucking better so people actually know who I am.
Well, everybody when I was in Cincy, everybody kept mistaking Kohlschreiber and Stokowski.
Oh,
to the point where I actually got in a fight with a woman because she wouldn't believe me that she was talking to Stokowski, and she thought she was talking to Kohlschreiber.
Oh my God!
And I kept trying to tell her, because she was yelling at him, saying that she watched him last night and that he did well. And I go, no, that was Kohlschreiber. And she goes, no, I was there. I watched the match. And I'm like, it's fucking not the same person. Like, I know this.
Yeah.
And it's just, I get super cocky at tennis tournaments sometimes, because I know I know who most of the players are.
Right.
And people fight with me. Also, I fought with a person who got Ernest's father confused with another member. I don't know if it was his uncle. That. I don't know if it was somebody else, but I got in a fight with the doorman. And everybody around knew to believe me. Because I'm like, bitch, I'm a fangirl. You just look at the freaking badges.
Yeah, it helps, because when I was first going to the tournament, people would ask, but they wouldn't necessarily believe me if I said who the player was. Even if you sound confident in your answer.
Yeah, and people.
Now that I have the media credentials, that helps a little bit. They tend to actually, when they're not asking you to take their picture on their cell phone.
What, of the player and them?
No, of them sitting at lunch and stuff. I got asked a couple times. They look at my credentials and it's like, "Oh, you're staff. Can you take a picture of me and my
Oh, I
friend?"
never got that.
Yeah. I
But then
think because
again,
I
I
had the
don't. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's partially probably because I've got a camera around my neck, so they're like, well, she'll know how to take it, you'll be
Yeah.
able to take the picture. But there was one table of women where it was just like, oh, staff, come take
Oh
our
my
picture.
God. I know a photographer that would get furious of that
Yeah. And
because I made the mistake of asking him. We were friends, and I'm kind of the person where if a friend has a problem and I know another friend that can fix it, I try and get them together because I don't know, that's always just how I was. I never thought
right,
that would ever be insulting.
right,
And I felt really bad because I knew this photographer friend who was at the area, was at the same practice or whatever my friend was. And she had a problem where she couldn't get her flash off. So she was getting mean looks from players and she couldn't get it off.
right.
And but she wanted to keep taking pictures. And I said, "Well, I have a friend that's in the was taking pictures at the practice that she was at." So I texted him and I was like, "Hey, are you still there and are you working? If you're not and you're in the area, can you help her get her flash off?" And he got super pissed at me, saying that he was professional and I had no business saying that.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that was insulting. I had no idea. So, sorry, photographers. I had no idea. Because I honestly just saw him as a friend.
Right,
I didn't really think of him, and it wasn't like, "Hey, I know you're working, but can you put down your camera and go help my friend?" It
right,
was just,
exactly.
"Hey, if you're still there and you're done taking photos, can you help her get her flash off?" I didn't know that was insulting. So yeah, so stopping people and stopping professionals and asking to take pictures and cameras is a risky thing.
Yes.
Be very careful because you may get some not friendly responses.
This was luckily I wasn't like taking pictures of, at the time, so it wasn't
Yeah.
like I was being interrupted or anything. But I said it's like sometimes you could tell sometimes people are just, they're like, "Oh, this person will know how to do it," and it's fine. But I said there was one table where it was like I just got treated like the help.
So, yeah, that's weird. Well, when I was at the US Open qualifier week and I wanted to take my picture with Joao Sosa and I didn't have anybody with me, so I was running around the area trying to find someone that could take the picture and no one spoke English.
Oh no.
So I kept running up to all these people, every person in the area going, "Hey, can you take my no English?" Or like they would just shake their head or they would say something like in their language. Nobody spoke English.
Uh,
And I was like, either nobody wants to take my fucking photo, or I mean, I'm in New York. I'm in the U.S. Open, and I know it's multicultural, but fucking hell, one American has to be in this area. And finally, I found a woman, and I don't even think she was even American, but she spoke enough English where she got it. And so I got my picture, but I was just like, what the fuck? And sometimes I'll ask staff for, photos and stuff, but it's so hard to ask people to take photos.
yeah, yeah.
Sometimes I will offer though. If I see people taking photos, I will offer. Like if I'm not doing anything.
Yeah, well, it's a it's less of a problem now with the whole. That's what people got so excited about, the whole selfie thing now, because when you used to have like a standard camera only, it's like you couldn't really take that picture yourself.
Yeah.
It was likely not going to come out right.
Yeah.
So now sometimes you can still take them yourself, but
Yeah.
it's also nice too that people ask you now and they set the phone up already so that it's ready to just take the picture.
Oh yeah. I always
Because
try.
it's
I
like
always
sometimes
set
people
it
just
up.
hand you their phone and it's like, I don't have a freaking iPhone. I don't have time to figure this out.
Yeah.
Oh, so moving on. we talked about this in the prep, and we I treated this with the fashion growth chart because I thought that was such a hilarious way of putting it. This is such a bizarre picture with Simone Biles, Maria Sharapova, and Vera Wang. It's just because of the heights and stuff, each one makes the other look weird, and
it doesn't look natural. It just looks weird.
And Vera Wang only weighs like 50 pounds, which I don't understand why that happened, and I don't understand what she's wearing. It's just an odd juxtaposition.
It is. It does. It looks like it's not a natural photo.
No. And I can sympathize because with being taller, I'm not as tall as Maria, but I always seem to have friends that are like 5 feet tall, and so that there's like no way to make that picture look natural. You don't know if you should like slouch or just stand normal, or it's like it's very hard to take pictures when you're drastically different heights.
Yeah, it's a weird, kind of creepy photo for some reason.
You know what? I think because they're all in black too. It's kind of like, I don't know. It's just
it's an odd photo. It just makes you feel odd. It's just weird.
Yeah,
I don't know. We'll just leave that up there. Let's go talk about balls again. This is amazing. And it gets funnier as you watch it.
I know, because it just keeps going on. And what's funny is, like, I'm pretty sure I watched the coin toss, at least part of it. And I actually always laugh when Stan does this because it is always weird. But then when they were both, look, it just keeps going.
And Novak's just like trying to copy whatever Stan's doing. And it's just like, and then they're both, like, it just seemed like they, like,
that's almost synchronized.
No, I know, and it just seems like once this started happening, they started to get more dramatic.
Yes.
Like, oh wait, okay, he's gonna do it. Well, I'm gonna do it better. Like, hold on, I'm gonna showboat. Look at this. Look at the thighs. Look at the thighs. And it's just like the weirdest. I could watch this all fucking day.
I know. I was just thinking of, like, it
gets funnier as you watch it.
I know.
And Stan just makes it because he's so serious.
Yeah.
And it's just like the weirdest standoff I've ever seen.
Oh my god. Yeah, because it's like, Rafa does the thing where he, especially when he was younger, he used to jump up and down really high and stuff. And it's like kind of like supposed to be in a way an intimidation thing. And this just looks absurd.
Look at that poor little kid in the middle of this weird ass display.
I know, it's probably like, what the hell are they doing?
It's like they're peacocking, and he's just like, I'm just here for a photo. They just told me to stand here. Am I supposed to do that? And like Novak just puts his butt out like so fucking far.
I know.
Like, watch him. Look, just like, what is that? It just doesn't look like natural warm-ups.
No. And honestly, I don't recall ever seeing Nole do this.
No, I think he was just copying Stan.
I think so too.
And then Stan started to get even more dramatic with it, and Stan's just staring at him like, yeah, you want to go? You want to do this? I will squat for squat right now. Oh, this is the weirdest thing. I just want 3 hours of this. Like, fuck the tennis. I just want this.
And have judges just rated then on who won.
Yeah. Nice knee bend there.
Great ass extension.
Yeah. Great ass to back bend ratio.
Yes, there you go. And I'm always, when I said Stan does this all the time, and I'm always afraid, a lot of times the kid will be on his side of the net,
Oh, God.
and he swings that racket around, and I'm like, oh my God, he's going to take this little kid's head off.
I would pee my pants. That, I think, would get a bigger reaction than Cascade his undies. Oh, God.
Wawrinka decapitates child at U.S. Open.
Oh, my God. Then the poor thing would have his head knocked off, and Novak would be grabbing him trying to do the heart thing.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that poor kid. It didn't even happen, and I feel so bad for him.
Oh, we should move on, and we'll watch this all day.
Yeah, we will. Like, I'm seriously, like, don't even want to move on. I'm like, I just want to sit here. Okay. Ooh, so we talked a little bit about Roddick earlier, doing his Periscope commentary, and his wife is like the queen of everything. Oh, God, sorry, I'm still laughing at before. Oh, it's okay. Anyway, she says, I think I'm blocked from watching Andy Roddick on Periscope. One little take your clothes off comment. And I just feel like she's all of us.
And what was funny was when I originally saw this, it was somebody had retweeted it. And so I just read the tweet and I didn't pay attention at first that who it was that wrote it. And so I just started laughing. I'm like, well, that's something I would do. And then you see that it's actually his wife. It's like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And that's I love them as a couple because they do seem to really enjoy each other's sense of humor.
Yeah, and she wanted nothing to do with him at first.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it took a long time for them to go out because he kept pursuing her, and she was like not interested for the longest time. And finally, she like caved and went out with him. Because he pursued her. Like, he didn't give up. And she was just like, fine. And now they're happily ever after.
Well, look at that. See, you work hard. You put the effort in.
Yeah, but don't be creepy, dudes. That's not... No.
Creepy.
Hold on. This is a bad message to send people.
I know.
If a woman says no, take no for an answer. Don't fucking...
That's exactly right. It's like,
yeah. I mean,
hey,
you can
Andy.
pursue lightly, and just be like, hey, you know...
Yeah, well, there's a difference between showing interest and stalking. There's a lot of area in between there that you can navigate.
Yeah, just don't be a dick.
Exactly.
Don't like sneak into an apartment and brush your balls on her forehead while she's sleeping. Don't do that. That is the message of this episode.
Unless you know her well and know that she'd like that, but otherwise...
No, unless she explicitly says, you know what would help me fall asleep right now? Some soothing ball rubbing. That's what would help me fall asleep. And then you could be like, okay, babe. I can do that for you.
Really soothes the sinuses. Just slap it right on there.
Anyway.
Oh, moving on.
Anyway, are we done with Brooklyn?
We're done with Brooklyn.
Sorry, Brooklyn.
I just love this picture.
This hurts me. This makes my body hurt.
I actually used to be able to do the reverse of this. I used to be able to do back bend and touch my heels.
Yeah, I can't fucking do any of that. I can bend over to pick up the bag of chips in aisle 5. Yeah, I'm not flexible at all. I would like to become flexible, but right now that just hurts me.
Yeah, it takes a lot of work. And he's tall, so this is extra impressive. He's got long legs and stuff. And it was funny because I had been thinking, I'm like, that Ebden was kind of one of those, another person that they thought was going to maybe do more, and I kind of hadn't heard from him in a while, and then this tweet popped up on my timeline. I was like, damn, it's nice to see you again.
Hello.
Hello.
Nice again, nice curvature of the body.
Yes.
Like we're critiquing him like Wawrinka and Djokovic.
Exactly. I like it. Just kind
You
of,
do.
it's hot. Bendy men are hot.
If only he was in a car. Like a clown car, just bend it all up
I
there,
mean,
and you
just
just
look how
open it, and he just,
they have the back seat. I mean, he wouldn't have any problem, obviously.
yeah.
Oh. Oh, and here's Delpo being Delpo, basically.
Sometimes you just gotta rub one out.
And we were talking about J-Max says he'd be in jail if he did this. It's like, yeah, probably. I think Fabio might not be able to get away with this.
But it's Del Potro.
It's Delpo.
I mean, he met the Pope. The Pope blessed him. He's allowed to rub.
There you go. I mean, he unzipped Nole's shirt one time in a match. He's high-fived Roger, I think, in the middle of a match one time. It's like Delpo gets away with a lot.
It's funny because, like, I was not a fan of Delpo for the longest time. I'm a fan of his dog because he's the most beautiful Newfoundland. But I was never really a fan of Delpo. Like, I just didn't really see, like, he was like Stan. Like, I just didn't really see the attraction. And, like, when he kind of came back from injury and, like, I don't know, maybe I just got caught up in the hype. I'm like, yeah, Delpo.
Yeah, Delpo's kind of one of those players that sort of does that draggy thing around, like, oh, I'm too weak to move.
Like a basset hound.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it's like a kind of a little bit of a tactic. And I was never a big fan of that. But I love his fear hand, and I've always
fear hand. Oh my god, are you Brad Gilbert right now?
It's a great
I love his fear hand. It's like, God, did Brad Gilbert just show up? Jesus Christ.
That was the first match I ever saw in of Federer was when he played Delpo in Cincinnati, and the two of them were just forehand to forehand battle, and I think I talked about this before. It was just like, it was hot. It was amazing. Tennis is sexy. It was just powerful, mano y mano kind of a thing. I don't know.
Like the GIF that we just showed.
Yeah. Exactly. So, but yeah, I always like the way he's always been considered like the best hugger on tour.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And there's all kinds of amazing pictures. He just envelops people. So, this is just another one of his little charming things. Plus, he's a ham on court sometimes. Sometimes he's really funny. He does all kinds of
he is.
things.
And when someone is goofy weird, I'm like, all right, I'm listening.
Yeah. You have my attention.
You tall, gangly weirdo.
Hug me.
Yeah.
Put your balls on my forehead.
Oh my god.
Oh.
I'm gonna be really weirded out, like, if somebody listens to this podcast and, like, asks me out and I don't know, and, like, our first date's gonna get really weird. And, like, I'm not gonna understand it, so I'm just gonna be like, I need to call the cops right now. Like, things are getting bad. It's like, but I listened to the night session. You like that.
Oh,
Anyway.
so what's the next one? This was just a funny tweet because this is just, oh nope, gotta go. But this was another one of those matches that reading Twitter was far better than watching the match could have ever been. Murray had like a complete emotional breakdown because there was some sound like a gong that went off during the match. And yes, it's irritating if you get interrupted when you're trying to serve or something, but he just went like ballistic about it. And then he was all freaked out about some moth that wouldn't get away from him. And apparently the camera started following the moth around and doing these like artistic shots of slow-mo of the moth's wings flying, and it was just it's completely insane match.
Oh my god.
So this
Sounds like
this
a Godzilla movie. The gods, the
yeah.
Kong, and like, isn't there like Godzilla versus Mothra? Like,
Yes, Mothra.
we just got hella nerdy all of a sudden. But yeah, that just sounds like a Godzilla movie to me, and that's hilarious. Yeah, I didn't watch the match, and all of a sudden I get on Twitter, and there's all these gifs of gongs, and they're using one of the scenes from WWE, and everything's hilarious, but I don't understand it. Like, I'm laughing, but I'm not really sure why. But it just looked hilarious and ridiculous, and yeah.
And then it was the joke that just kept on giving too, because then there was that horrible Monfils Djokovic match. Then they said this match deserves a gong.
Yeah.
It just kept on going.
If any match deserved a gong, it's this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, God, that was such a terrible match. I know I keep talking about it, but like, you guys, it made me hate tennis. Like, it made me never want to watch it ever again. And yeah, so we're gonna get a little bootylicious.
Wow, yeah. I wanted to end on the Baby Borna, but
I know we didn't. We had the gong thing end in the show, and she's like, "No,
yeah,
we gotta end with the good stuff."
That's right. And this is my friend Leia that I met in Cincinnati.
Princess Leia?
Princess. Well, there's a whole story with that, because when I met her, a lot of times you see people's names on Twitter, but you've never met them, so you don't know how to pronounce their name. And so I asked her how to pronounce it, and she told me, and then I introduced her to my husband and mispronounced it.
How did you say it?
I think I said Leah.
Oh.
Because I know Aaliyah, so it was just like what was in my brain. And so then we sat down and watched a match together, and about 5 minutes into the match, I looked at her and I said your name wrong, didn't I?
That's funny.
And so she says, it's Leia. And she goes, like the princess. And I went, that's how I'll remember it.
Yeah, I was going to say, how can you not remember Leia?
Yeah, well, it's Leah. So
Oh.
the spelling's different. So,
yeah.
Which then I believe she said her parents disagreed on how to pronounce it. So then I didn't feel so bad.
Oh, wow, that's hilarious.
But she did kind of a cool little tennis tour this year, and she's been to a lot of different tournaments, and she went to Boodles, and she got a lot of pictures of the Baby Borna butt, and she was kind enough to share them. And he gets more impressive with every day that passes.
Like I said, he's ready to mount you, like at any, which I'm sure Boodles loved.
Yeah,
they're ready to mount anything.
Well, you can see there's a pretty big crowd there, because there were some matches where there's only like a few people at them, but I know Borna had the crowd behind him, shall we say?
Yes.
He has such a great body. Because it's like because when he first came out, he's so skinny, but
oh my god, I know, yeah.
But he's got such great curvature. It's like he's got big shoulders, and then his tiny waist, and then the round ass. He's just amazing. So it's one of those things, like you said, you have like a reaction to him. It's like he's powerful stuff.
No, like he's not my type at all, really. But yeah. I just feel like he's ready to fuck, like at any moment.
And it's such a great quality.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. And I believe he knows we do, so he seems to really play up with that, which is what our next tab is about.
I don't know. So they gave each member of the Croatian Davis Cup team a dance to imitate. I'm convinced Valerie is behind this video. Because out of all the players and all the dance moves, Borna gets twerking. Look at him slowing it down. Look at it. That's not twerking.
I know. I'm like, he doesn't do it right, but you know, I'll watch it.
None of that was twerking.
No.
That's just hip shaking.
Yeah. But I'll keep watching it.
I just love how they slowed it down and like whoever edited this was like, I swear it's you.
Let's enjoy this.
All the guys are.
I know.
They're like, yeah.
Hello, baby.
Hello, baby. All right. I think we should leave Valerie alone.
On that note.
Yeah.
That's a good way to end it.
Yeah.
I love my tweet with his crap strewn everywhere.
You get on him about his section.
It's so amusing because it depends on the match. Sometimes he always starts out real orderly. He like stacks up the towels and he arranges things, and then if it's like a really tough match, by the end of it, there's just shit everywhere. And he's actually been told sometimes by the umpire that you need to clean up a little bit.
Did he really?
Yeah. I don't think it happened to him at this tournament, but it has, because sometimes I have like 18 towels all on the ground all around him, and his clothes, and 17 rackets.
How great would it be if he like dropped a banana peel and then a little ball kid ran and slipped on a banana peel like slapstick style?
No. That'd be better than slipping on Gasquet's underwear, I guess.
Oh god, both would be. I don't know. I think I'd rather have the underwear as a spectator to see. But I think it'd be a better story. But you know, I think we established I'm pretty twisted. So
yeah, I think so. I think this podcast has finally put the nail in that coffin.
Oh, hey, my ancestors are from Transylvania.
There you go.
You know, Dracula's castle, nails in coffins.
There you go.
Paintings of little girls holding up Gasquet's underwear in my house. Oh, God. I really want that to be the focal point of the room. Really great feng shui. I think we lost Valerie.
There's this little extra pop of excitement in the room.
I think we officially lost Valerie. And that was my goal of the evening, because it's so late, to just make her fucking lose it.
Oh my god. That was amazing. I think we just have to end right there. I think that's good. You can follow me at Tennis Inside Out if you dare. You can follow Courtney at Courtney Mania or Outside the Ball. And do you have anything else to add, Courtney?
I don't.
Oh,
wait. The important lesson today: you can't get your balls out on the court.
That's right. Or put them on someone's forehead without their express permission.
Yes.
That's what we've learned today. And this has been the night session.